offline?
It's offline. Yeah.
What's your OBS say?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're good now.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. It was weird.
Yeah, it works. Audio works too. Good job, Chant.
Is everything fixed now?
Yeah, it's fixed.
All right. Everyone in the chat, refresh. Please write in the chat, refresh, just so people know. Oh, still retained 77 after losing everybody there. Appreciate it.
That's better likes, you know?
Yeah. Anyway. No, but actually, I actually want to ask you a question, Toxsik. So, like, what are you, like, considered for the league? Like, what is your actual job title?
So what I actually signed on as was marketing coordinator of the 2K League. But I mean, I don't know how much I can and can't say about it, but I do know like I'll be like within a hybrid role for the league. So obviously I'll be on the marketing side of things as well as doing things with like broadcasts, like obviously, you know, ideas with tournaments, 5v5, 3v3, like all that type of stuff. So I kind of have my hands in a bunch of different things, but the actual job title within the contract was marketing coordinator of 2K, the NBA 2K League.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm happy that you took the role. Obviously, I know there was a lot of options I think that you probably could have gone with. So I'll be honest, and if you saw me post it, like, I think personally, and this is something that I'm saying, I think this has been one of the best hires that the league has had, like, ever, in my opinion.
It's a coup. It's a coup, is what you're trying to say.
A lot of pressure, man. Wow.
No. It's more of just like, look, they hire a lot of good people in the league office, but at some point we need like 2K people to help run the 2K league. Like it's easy. Like it's easy that way. And hiring you is like, hey, you're a 2K person for the 2K league. We need shit like that. Yeah. That's just an easy win.
Yeah. So I was just very happy that you got the role and that you decided to actually go with it, because I know you kind of where, you know, you were debating, you know, you didn't know what was next for you after retiring. You know what I mean? Like, you still were in that, you know, moment of like trying to figure out what's next for you. And the fact that you know you're working for the league, I just think that you were the best possible person, especially for now that the league's going into 3v3. Like, this is gonna benefit the league a lot. And I know that everything that you want to do, it might not always go your way, but like, I know that you're one of those people that is very passionate about this, and it's gonna like do everything in your power to make sure it succeeds. So like, you genuinely care. So like, I think that that's something that's really going to help you, and I think you're going to enjoy the role personally. I mean, I think like, look, like I can be a little transparent because like everything's kind of already out in public and now, and everyone kind of knows everything. Like, I was definitely weighing options of like a coaching position, and I had some teams high up there that I was looking at as well. But I felt like for the future and like moving forward, that this was a role that I could grow in and learn a lot in, and as well as like bring multiple forms of my skill set to help the league, right? So I just felt like it made sense on that end, as well as like coming from the player end. Like, listen, like us as players, like, well, you know, not for me anymore, but like we can be the biggest critics of the league. So like I kind of know like coming in, what are some of the things that we've wanted to see change, and then hopefully I can help implement those as well as give new ideas, right? So it's like we all know what it is with the league, and I think I kind of talked about it a little bit with Vegas. Like, Vegas was great because it just shows like the elevation, like, and like the evolution of the community. And I think the more that like continues, like the more the league will get ideas and implement new things and see things like, you know, and everything will improve hand in hand. So like I think everything's going in the right direction. I mean, we just have like little puzzle pieces that we got to, you know, put in from time to time to make it keep growing. So.
See, I see his real intentions here. He's going to stay with the league for like 3 years, and he's going to wrangle his way to getting Eyeball Empire, getting a free team in the 2K League. Yeah, they're not going to have to play $25 million, and they're going to get a free team. I'm on to you, Tox. You can't.
Hey, we might have a 3v3 team. I don't know.
And he's just going to make a 6-man team. All of
I might have to give up ownership. I might have to sign away ownership.
And then he's going to install Champ as commissioner. I'm on to both of you. Yeah, I figured it out.
I actually have a question about that now that you have this league role. So, like, what is the future for Eyeball? Like, how are you going to be able to balance this and Eyeball out? You know, now that you are taking on this league role,
nothing's going to change. I mean, I've had this for so long, man. Like, we have a team in place with that like I really don't do much anyways. Like, they make me look good, right? Like guys like Cyclonic and, you know, Joe helps out a lot, and like a lot of other guys like even players like Day Fry and JT and everyone, like they have their hands in it as well. That it's a kind of just a well-oiled machine right now. So like, I'm just the poster boy.
But I just want to ask you, because I know you weren't in Vegas. I know you kind of
Yeah.
thought about going to Vegas, but like
Yeah.
from an outside perspective, a guy that kind of probably watched from the Twitch chat, saw social media, like what was your thoughts on this event and just the impact of it? Like, do you like did the 2K community like within Pro-Am take a step forward, or was it just like something you've seen before?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, it took a step forward. Now, like, is this something I've seen before? Yeah, like not within our community, right? Like, I come from Halo. Like, is this something that I see in Halo all the time? And it's one of the reasons Halo was the foundation and pillars of esports to beginning in years and years ago, like 10 plus years ago, like in person live amateur open bracket tournaments, like it's perfect.
That's esports, man.
It is. It's esports in a nutshell.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Right. So like, I think absolutely, like it was great. I mean, from a viewer standpoint, I thought it was awesome. Like Harris, I thought you did a great job, like with commentating. Like it wasn't dry and boring. I didn't have to mute.
Hey, India was up there with me for 20 hours, man. Shout
India as well. Like both of you guys did really well. I think it helps too that like the HyperX arena is just it's super appealing. It looks dope on camera. Like everything about it looked dope. I thought altogether production was good, and it helped that a lot of the games were just really good games.
Oh yeah, we had some series,
right?
Dude,
like
that
the only
ENG
ones that were like
KMT
blowouts was like the no look ones.
I don't even know how you guys found those games so good. Like you guys, I don't know if it was just luck or like you guys kept finding like really good games. Like Harris, I don't know. Like
I think it just showed the balance of competition throughout the tournament. Besides, no look was winning by 30.
The chat helped, dude. There were people in the arena who were texting people that were watching on Twitch what games were going on, and they would tell us, and we would switch to those games. Like it was an instantaneous process. It was actually pretty cool. Because the production team, like, they weren't basketball or 2K people, they were production people.
Right.
So they really just relied on us to, like, tell them where to go. But, like, that ENG KMT series, like, I remember when I was, like, it's just, like, a kid. And I remember watching, like, the early days of, like, some esports events. Man, those felt like two classic esports brands going at each other. Like an old Gears series or something with, like
I mean, there's nothing better than that, you know? Like,
it's crazy.
There's nothing better than that. I think absolutely though, champ. Like it's a huge step in the right direction, and like hopefully we see more of it. And I mean, and then I'll say it up front, and I've expressed it to some people within the league. Like I hope we see this implemented into the league somehow. Like I hope that we bring amateur stuff into the league, and like maybe like again, this is just like super hopeful thinking and just talking off the top of my head, right? Like how dope would it be to have a 3-day event where you have an open amateur bracket? You know, let's say like a Friday, and like you see all these amateur teams come out and compete at an open bracket. They play all Friday. They're on the 2K League broadcast, and then come Saturday, that's when you get into more of like the pro bracket, and that's where you see the 2K League teams compete. And now you have a combination of all these amateurs, all these pros in one place.
Yep.
Coaches are able to scout, able to meet amateurs. Amateurs are able to now see pros and how pros play in situations, and how it is for like pro teams on game days, and how we move and operate and do everything when we're at events. And like I just think that that's a huge step in the right direction if we get to something like that. And like you said, Harris, like that's kind of just like that is esports, right? Like I think that would be like a huge step in the right direction if we can do something like that. But obviously,
Yeah. The open tournament thing is really cool because like imagine like what we experienced with like a Buddha and a Capo, like with the way that they were playing, like that kind of breakout performance, but in a league setting for like even bigger money than that. Like the stories that will come out of this, like I know that the league players would be pissed if some random person came out of nowhere and won a tournament right out from under them.
But don't you think, Harris, on that end, like you don't.
Oh. That would be the biggest story of the year.
Don't let them compete against each other, though.
Yeah, and being able to see them compete each other would be so cool. Like, I hope people understand, like, those big underdog stories are what literally, that's all sports is, and that's all esports is. Like, the EPL is better because Leicester won. Like, that's the good shit. You want that shit to happen.
Yeah, but I just have to say, though, like, yeah, it stinks that, like, all right, like, you could go play against those amateur level players and they have a chance at the same prize pool as you in a way. But at the same time, it's like, you are a professional and, like, you're expected to beat them. And if you don't, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like,
wonder if I would push
you're not
players
wrong,
to play more,
like,
which would be kind of weird.
You guys aren't wrong, but there is a lot of conflict of interest, like
For sure.
with that, because like, how do you tell an NBA team that they pay this X amount of dollars to join the league and they play for this amount prize pool, then you let an amateur team come in, pick their own team, and pay like a $200 entry fee? Like, it doesn't make sense. So like,
sure.
I think one step in the right direction would be having these open tournaments at 2K League events, but like you just have it be separate tournaments. Like you have your amateur ones, and they can compete and they can play for their own prize pool, however they would do it. Like obviously I don't know exactly, but and then you would also have your 2K League like bracket.
Here's a hypothetical thing, Tox. Let's say that does happen where like teams are kind of mad that like let's say an amateur team comes in and beat them.
Yeah.
Would that maybe open up the conversation? Like this is obviously under the pretense that like league continues to get more successful, teams are making more money.
Yeah.
Would that push the idea maybe that teams would like want to maybe pay their own players so that they can kind of control their skill level more?
You mean like every other esport?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You mean like every other esport that has kind of players on contract? Yeah.
But that feels like the thing that would actually push them to do it, because it's like a cause and effect, like right, like you said, like the effect is that people are looking for is teams kind of being individual and creating like their own teams basically with their own rosters, kind of just figuring it out. But there needs to be a cause for them to want to do that, because right now they're sitting pretty. So it's kind of like, wouldn't amateur players winning kind of be that cause? Be like, hey, you guys want more control so you don't lose?
It would. I mean, it would. It's just you just got to look at it from both perspectives. It's like, if you're the other perspective, like why would you pay this money to play against amateur teams? You know what I mean? So it's like it's almost going back on everything the league like started as.
That's a good point.
I mean, I hate to say it, like I just took a job with the league, but it's like I feel like it's the direction that needs to happen, because like the problem is like with the league, and not to harp on the league, but like our general audience is our pro-am bubble, and that's it. Like it's the comp pro-am bubble. Like what about like the smaller pro-am bubble? And like obviously the 3v3 stuff will help. Like and I always go back and relate to Halo because it's just my personal experience, right? Like when I first went to Halo tournaments and it was an open bracket with 256 teams, all the pro teams were there, right? Like being in that same environment as the pro teams and like just even having the chance to like kind of show off like my ability to them was like everything. When I was 14, 15 years old, it was everything. Like it made me want to keep doing it and keep going and get better and like make that pro status. You know what I'm saying? Like
we have that guy too. We have 630. We have him, like 5v5 guy, 13 years old, missed that free throw, kept building with pro players, and wham, best player in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, but
it's like it's all there, right? Like the blocks are all there. It's like, but again, like it kind of goes against what the league started as.
Yeah.
So
I think the league needs to definitely give benefits to orgs for like paying the amount of money that they do and the amount of money that like it takes to just be a part of this league. I definitely think there needs to be an advantage. I don't know what Call of Duty does. Call of Duty has like a they have like the same thing where they have like the community play, but like they
have an open bracket.
Yeah, but they play for smaller prizes. Like it's not like,
so the way it would work with them is like they play for, obviously there's like a pro bracket and there's an open bracket. So like the open bracket, you play for a smaller amount of money. And then you like by doing well in the amateur bracket, you can collect points and things like that to make it to like worlds or like get into the pro bracket to play against the pro teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that's stuff that's eventually going to happen. I'm sure Brendan and all them, they've discussed this. They get it. I think it's just something that's going to take time to kind of really mold out and figure out. And like
well, if they're putting us in the game, champ. If I know that BT was like teasing it, and if that's like true, I'm not gonna get my hopes up, because if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
The league being in the game.
The league being in the game at like the start of 2K23, or at least on the early side of it.
Like a game mode.
He didn't specify. He just said that we're gonna be involved in the release.
Yeah, I've heard about that a little bit.
So if that is true, even if it's at like a small level,
I mean, first step, can we just get a damn 2K League tab in the game or something?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that's step one, right?
I feel my feeling about the league has been going into season 3. Season 3 was going to be fucking massive because we had all the star power lined up, ready to go. Draft was huge. Then COVID kicked our ass, but we still survived because we got on ESPN. last year was kind of felt like the rest of the world felt like, right? It was just COVID. We're all kind of miserable and inside. The league existed. We did our thing. We existed, which a lot of esports leagues had difficulty doing.
Yeah.
And now here we are in season 5, like kind of dusting ourselves off a little bit, like ready to start running again. So I just feel like there's momentum back, and that tournament really helped because it kind of reminded us like, hey, like this is what it was supposed to be. The 2K League was supposed to be in-person play all the time, tournaments all the time, and I feel like we're kind of getting back to where we were supposed to be. Plus the added element of like not having to be in person all the time because remote will be nice.
Well, I think the 2K League really needed the amateur scene to kind of pick itself up like this because it's unfortunately with the 2K League, there's a lot of restrictions due to the NBA, so it's kind of hard for them to do a lot of things versus what the amateur level can do. Obviously UPA being able to host events with unvaccinated people. I'm pretty sure the 2K League is going to have like if you're going to be at an event, you're probably going to have to be vaccinated, which is going to be hard because obviously there's like after seeing the amount of people who had to get COVID tests done for the UPA event, it shows that there's still a lot of people unvaccinated. So it's going to kind of be hard when it comes to in-person events. If like, let's say like the park, like you win a 3v3 tournament and now you qualify for the playoffs or something, or so, I don't know how it's really going to work, everything, but like, it's going to be hard to bring these people from the community in person, it's because there's a lot of like hoops to jump through for the NBA compared.
I mean, eventually we got to get back to it though.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, COVID is obviously. I mean, it's COVID, man. Like the evolution of it and what our society will be in 6 months is completely unpredictable, right? Like I feel like we can all agree on that at least. Who knows? It is interesting though that the league is trying to do in person play like a lot this year. It seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like,
that just seems like a big step forward.
One thing that kind of like I'm excited for the draft being February 26th. I wish it was in person, but obviously we're still kind of progressing our way towards just trying to get the league.
I don't think the draft necessarily even needs to be in person.
Yeah,
I said this on the broadcast, and like it is really cool for these kids to like experience it with their parents. Like who knows better than the parents of these kids how much time they put into it?
I've never even been to a draft, Harris.
Really?
I never been to 1 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember they had the video of you with your family.
Season 1, I was with my family. Yeah. Every other season, I've always been with my family because like that was just more important to me to experience it with all my family and friends, and I'd never been to one. So like, I agree with you on it not having to be in person personally.
And this year, if the league is planning for it to be remote, just like they know how big an event the draft is, I feel like they're gonna fucking pull out the stops this year. Like I feel like we're gonna have like remote broadcast that we're going to see in like articles and shit,
Yeah. I've been to every single draft, and I'll say this. I think that they've all been unique in their own ways. Season 1 was different because it was like the first time. Like it felt awesome. No one knew each other. I felt it was cool. It was just and like everyone went out in the city. Like is that MSG in Manhattan, and then the Barclays Center. Yeah, the Barclays Center is in Brooklyn. Like, turn your mic up, champ. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. But I think that like the Madison Square Garden was cool, Barclays Center was cool, and then I think they did Hell's Kitchen. I think that was. I think all of the places that 2K League has chosen to do the draft at have been fantastic, and I don't mind the virtual like draft. It's cool, you get a different like end of things, seeing like chaos with his family and stuff like that. Seeing Colt sleeping during
this
the draft.
bar picture where he's like squinting at the screen when he got picked.
Yeah, so there's some funny moments that you definitely had a different experience with, with virtual. Which I mean, again, the crazy thing is, let's go 5 years in the future from that. Like you're gonna see like you're gonna just know the COVID era for this league, and it's gonna look so different compared to like everything else. Like no one will ever forget the COVID era. Like I said, you could be 20 years down the line with this stuff, and it's just everyone's always going to remember this time because it was such a hard time for the league. But the fact that the league is fighting through it, and I honestly think the league is thriving through it despite all the adversity they had to deal with.
I think people also completely underestimate how hard it is to run an esports league. I mean, Jesus, look how much funding is behind COD, and look at the issues they're having. Overwatch, man, dude, Overwatch.
Well, like let's remember too, like COD's been going around for.
Oh yeah, and it'll survive. Oh yeah, it'll survive. But it's, I mean, damn, they have their own problems, huh?
Yeah, and that's like, a similar issue I think that a lot of esports have. That, I mean, I think Halo has done a good job now of fixing it. Is the relationship
They're
between
back. Definitely
yeah,
back.
yeah, but the relationship between the esport and and the developers is really good. Like, they're very good with getting on top of things when they get player feedback. And I'm not saying that like Call of Duty doesn't, because I know that Call of Duty is trying their best, and I know that the same thing goes for 2K. Like, but I just think that there's a lot of growing pains that we have to go through, like for both Call of Duty and 2K, for us to really get to that point to where we need to be as an esport.
I mean,
We got to remember too, though, like COD and Halo, they weren't like that in the beginning. Like,
no way.
I come from playing Halo 1, playing professional Halo 2 and Halo 3. Like, Halo 3 was the first Halo where like it started to really like implement like the esports side of things into the game, and like COD took a while to get to that too.
Bro, they built
we're
the
only in season
stadium.
5.
They built a stadium for Overwatch in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Overwatch League hasn't existed for like 18
crazy.
months. It's coming back this year. It is, but like, dude, this is my point. Like, at the end of the day, the league ran fully with, I would say, minimal issues, maybe average issues that you would probably expect through a pandemic. And I feel like that in and of itself is actually pretty impressive that it just survived in general. Like, holy shit! Like a lot of companies and a lot of like entertainment products did not survive. They just vanished. We're still here, and now we're going into our 5th season. We're adding these like cool things. I feel like this 3v3 integration is going to be absolutely nuts. I feel like we don't even know half the ideas that the league is bringing to the table.
I don't think we do at all.
No, I feel like they're going to really pull out the stops for this.
Seeing the amateur team is being involved in it as well.
They haven't even. We haven't heard any. We heard that they signed Coinbase as a partner, and have heard nothing about that since.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that I feel like they're about to throw. That's going to be fucking crazy. Exactly, dude. I feel like there's like they are saving a lot of shit, and that's why they've been so quiet.
Imagine buying a virtual NFT of a 2K League player.
Cool. Fuck yeah. I was talking to Karina about NFTs a shit ton during when I was there for the draft lottery.
I wish you could do like K League fantasy basketball.
We should do. We should have Top Shot, like, easy.
That'd be cool.
We should easily have Top Shot. We could do DFS with this esport also. We probably have a better chance of doing DFS than any other esport because the positions are so easy to price out.
Well, I have a question. Are we the first esport to have like, and I know like there's like multiple like like Call of Duty has 4v4. Are we the first esport to have like multiple things, like, so we have 5v5, now we have 3v3, maybe eventually we could have 1v1? Are we the first esport to have like multiple things, like a 3v3 and a 5v5?
I mean, Halo had 4v4 and free-for-all.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I
like free-for-all was always like on the back burner. Like, it wasn't like...
Didn't COD at one point also have free-for-all tournaments? Or
they might have, but it was never like...
They were probably small. Okay.
I was always 4v4 and free-for-all, but like free-for-all was always
the GameStop in my town used to play free-for-all tournaments, and that's why all I play for Call of Duty now is free-for-all, but if that wasn't a thing everywhere, that's why.
Well, like the only thing I could think of for like Call of Duty is like the Warzone and like their regular competitive Call of Duty.
That's fair.
Like, you know what I mean? That's the only way I look at it. Like for like
even Warzone doesn't have like its
right? Like,
yeah, Warzone doesn't have like its own like.
Yeah, it doesn't. I know it doesn't have.
Like most recent Warzone tournament, I'm pretty sure was won by Scump. So like that should just
the World Series of Warzone or whatever.
Well, it just really shows, like, we see in like our esport, like guys like Splash who transition to multiple game modes and are like good, like Ultimate Team, then to the 2K League. Like, that just shows how good like your pros are. Like the fact that Scump can transition from that 4v4 scene to going to Warzone and still like being good. And I'm not saying, like, again, there's other people who have been really good, but like that one moment for Scump to be really good there, just, it's, kudos. It just really shows that there is a competitive edge in esports. And like, in my opinion, it gives a very good legitimacy to esports when you see like guys who are good across the board and not just good at one specific thing in a game. I
just hope that we stop saying that there's no skill gap at the top end of 2K.
Oh no,
I don't know, because the players, a lot of players keep saying like there's no skill gap and stuff, and I don't know, man. Like I know that I'm not a 2K player at all. I just clearly watch probably way too much 2K for somebody with I see it all the time, and it's pretty cool to see if you like really look into. Like there are a lot of levels to this stuff that like if you really like analyze it, like the pro players are moving at a completely different speed than anybody else could move at this game.
Well, a lot of it is stuff that doesn't show up on a stat sheet.
Can I just say something real quick on that though, Harris? You guys know how chess is played, right? like you can only make so many moves in chess to where games like listen, it's all mental, right? You have to you have to get into your opponent's head and really predict what he's going to do next, and that's kind of how I look at 2K. Like it's a chess match. You're trying to figure out, okay, like I know this point guard loves going right. Next possession, like I'll let him feel, safe going right for the next 2 possessions. Then that third possession, I'm going to blitz him and get that steal, and it's going to change the momentum of the game. Like that's how I look at
no Giants.
Like that's how I look at this esport. Like I just think that like it's just a chess match, and I think that's the skill gap. It's not necessarily how you move the sticks. Everyone can do like certain dribble moves. Like a lot of people can figure out how to do certain dribble moves. But,
it's like it goes. It's. I always bring up Halo, right? Like. Halo at the highest level, okay? Everyone can aim. Everyone shoots their gun well, right? Like everyone hits their shots. It's like what makes you different at the highest level of Halo is the other things you do, right? Like your map movement, like the way you like where you're placing yourself on the map, little things like that don't show up on a stat sheet. Like that's the same way with 2K, right? Like you said, everyone can dribble, right? Like at the best, the top guards, right? Like are gonna be able to dribble. The same, but like what makes them different? It's little things that you don't see on a stat sheet that is to me is what separates the skill gap, right? Like as much as people like, you could talk about guys like Dave Fry and stuff like that. Like what he brings, like is a skill gap. Like that stuff, making people better around you. The things that he does outside of like just being a good 2K player. Like everyone's at the top level, like top level. I'm talking about. Like tier 1 levels are all good players. Like they're all good, but like what little things do they do to make them better?
Does consistency show skill gap too? Like just because
it shows skill. Yeah,
because
if you're good all the time, that probably means you're good.
Mm-hmm. That's what
right.
This is why the 3v3 thing is so cool, right? Because kind of like what Tox is saying, like Scump won the World Series of Warzone thing, and he is a constant big time winner in all Call of Duty competitions. Like our players should be the exact same in 3v3.
You're gonna be surprised, bro. Like the pro teams aren't gonna just get mopped.
No, absolutely
right
not.
Now,
they're gonna put up a fucking huge fight.
It depends on what teams. Obviously, like we're gonna have some teams that are gonna get mopped. Like I'm gonna be honest.
They're always the bottom of the London Ravens.
I hate to harp on or like always talk about the Wizards, but like I'm taking a Dave Fry awkward defense on 3v3, 5v5. I don't care what game mode it is. You know what I mean? Like
kick your ass. Yeah.
Like they're gonna be good. Like a lot of teams have those players, right? I think lockdown is going to be a super valued, obviously, position for 3v3. So like teams that have like Tazo and randoms and awkward and like I think they're going to do fine.
But let's not forget that under 2.5 years ago that Mama, Lavish, and Walnut won a 3v3 tournament on Xbox against a lot of really good teams. Nobody remembers. And Mama like crushed everybody. Walnut like wouldn't allow anybody to score. Everybody forgets about it. Like these guys, like 630 is going to crush people. Like these guys at the end of the day,
they're going to find
really
ways
good.
to win. Like
yeah, of course.
I can say too, right? Like, okay, like in my past years, like I've
hosted Majestic. Thank you, Famous. Sorry,
I've hosted a lot of 3v3 tournaments in my past years, like since 2K17, and in some of these years, like I've had a lot of 2K League pros playing them just for fun, right? Like I had years where Keena was in it with Hotshot, Ramo was in it with Wolf, like, and they always did well. They didn't win, but I mean, 50, 60 team tournament, and these guys were making the final 8. I mean, and that was years ago, right? So like now there's like this is on the bigger stage and there's a lot of money, involved, and
it's like a tournament this weekend, right? Sherm hasn't been playing the game at all. All of a sudden, here we are. Sherm makes it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, I mean,
Chan, turn your volume off. We can hear
Sherm being Sherm, huh? Yeah, the post hook, yeah.
Oh,
that's a prime example too. Like a guy like Keena, right? That 3v3, like. He got so much shit in that 3v3 tournament because he was doing the post hook stuff.
That was so funny.
But that's just like Keena. Like he brought a different play style to the 3v3 that you won't see traditional like stage players do, and he was winning with it. And then
he looked like Jerry West out there. He was playing 1960s basketball. It was fucking hilarious. Dude, Dino, I think still hates him.
He hates him. Absolutely hates him. But they like the good players like that. They just find a way to win. Like these 2K League players, they're gonna find ways to win. Like. They're not gonna. They know, like for example, like Keena knows he's not gonna go be the best dribble head in 3v3, right? But he's going to be super smart. He's gonna make the right reads, make the right
And
plays.
he's got Antoine now.
He's already. So Keena did confirm to me Antoine will be starting in 3v3.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
He would be. I think Charlie is smart enough to know when somebody's better.
Yeah, he's one of the better stage guards.
Antoine's a fucking demon.
Same thing with the Hornets, right? Like depending on who the Hornets draft, like I just think there's no way Rigby's not your guard.
Yeah, for sure.
3v3, like Rigby comes from stage. Like these are guys I was playing with stage with in 2K18.
This is why it's surprising to me, Talks, that like Greens isn't like this, like the definitive number one pick.
You said what now?
This is why it's surprising me that Greens isn't like the definitive number one. Like,
I mean, listen, like,
what happened?
Oh no,
what happened?
I think that's the number one. Like,
what happened? Like, I thought he had a great run with Dayfry and stuff. Yeah, he isn't playing as much anymore. I hear he's still playing threes. He
plays. He's playing 10s every night.
Oh, great!
Every night.
That's
even better. Play threes like that.
So
I don't even know. I can't believe that he isn't. Yeah, I think he's gonna fall, and whatever team gets him is just gonna cackle.
I really think we need a 3v3 tournament before the draft because it would
be one.
Like there needs to be because like it's huge because if we get it,
I want to cast that shit. I want to cast that shit for sure, dude.
I want to be a part of it too because I want to see that.
Figure it out. Like, I already have one planned for next month, so we'll figure it out. We'll get something going. This is what I'll say. Like the only problem with the 3v3 tournaments, guys, is a lot of you guys don't understand like the stage community. You guys that come from it, you guys know there's an issue with the stage right now, Harris, where like people can load into the stage and they can boot the server off. And so it kicks everyone out of the stage. You got to load back up, right? So there's these kids that go out there and do it, and they come to me, who's hosting a tournament. They say, "Pay me $50 and I'll stop."
Oh,
and like,
what the fuck?
Now the alternative is go to 3v3 Pro-Am.
But that's kind of your only option.
That's a little like okay. It's a little bit different sliders. It's not as like appealing to the eye, right? Like it's.
I'll be honest.
The 3v3 court's small. Like,
well, do you know, Tox, if our 3v3 is our 3v3 going to be 3v3 Pro-Am rules, or is our 3v3 going to be like?
I don't know. I don't know. I would hope it would lean more towards like the parkish, because you want to have like a little bit flair with it. You don't want them to be like.
But what makes it more? What makes Park more appealing than like 3v3 Pro-Am? Is it just the backdrop?
Stage. No one likes to play stage, or no one likes to play Park. It's always stage. All my terms are always stage.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, what makes it?
I don't know. It's always been that. It's always been the place for like the competitive 3v3 for years. That's just what it's always been. Like the best 3v3 players were always in stage. You know what I mean? Like. That's where we always win.
Park is where you just kind of load up to like dig around and have fun.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Your boys.
Stage feels like where people like it kind of feels like the ranked of 3v3.
Right. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously I do have stuff planned for one. We're gonna do one. I'm gonna start off in stage, but if that if those issues do arise, then we'll just take it to 3v3 Pro-Am. But that's a headache. It's a whole headache on its own. But
it's not easy to do.
To talk about greens though, like, listen, man.
We already know where you stand on this.
You know where I stand, and I do try to like not be biased. In all seriousness, like I really don't try to be biased towards eyeball guys at all. But like a guy like Greens is a guy that I met in 2K18, and guys there in the chat can attest to this. I know guys I've known him like Killy and Guns and these other guys that you guys know Greens from where he started to where he is now. He's still not as good as he can be. Like 100%, he's not as good as he can be.
I think I think he's gotten better since I've seen him. But my only question is like, because I've never actually gotten to talk to him. That's like the hardest thing for me is like I've never seen him the only reason, and I understand why he didn't go to Vegas. That's fine. But like that, like the opportunity to meet people in Vegas, it really helped a lot of these coaches and GMs kind of get to know these players. So,
well, champ, what about this? The man was trusted.
People just couldn't really go though.
But think about it this way, right? Like the man was trusted for multiple months to play with Crush, Dini, and Dayfry. If he was some annoying shit kid, they wouldn't have hung around with him.
And I'll tell you this: like the way the whole Empire Gaming team thing like became a thing, right? Like I contacted Ryan Dayfry and said, "Listen, I want to put a team together. Let's do it. Like, what do you want to do?" Right away, it was like, "I want Crush," right? Like, obviously, boom, let's do that. And Dayfry came to me about Greens. So that says a lot on its own, right? Like he was willing to play with a guy like that who he knew like could be really well, and like now Green's playing with those guys like a Crush and a Dayfry. I mean, it leaps and bounds helped him in pre-draft. Like he wasn't as talkative. Like he was more of a quiet point guard. I mean, they've instilled leadership into him. Like if you're playing with a guy like Crush and Dayfry, they're gonna drill it into you that you have to be talking 24/7.
Yeah,
and like he's learned that, right? So like taking that and going into the league, I mean, I think is just.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Huge help.
Like I think that is fair, but like again, I think that for Greens, like it's been fair to like making the number one pick, but like the hardest thing that I had early on was he was on a really good roster, like, and now
you hold that against him.
It's not that I necessarily hold it against him, but it's like, how can I evaluate a guy who like that has a really bad roster but is good compared to a guy that is like considered really good but has a stacked ass roster? Like it's like giving freaking I don't know, like.
But I mean, you got to remember too, champ. Like Greens was winning before.
Yes,
he was on this team.
Yeah, and that's a fair argument. But like, I wish when like, because like obviously, like the Empire team is not playing as much now. I wish that like he like Greens like was playing with another pro team. We got to see him kind of
on a different roster.
Yeah, like I really that's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping after like Dayfry and them all took this kind of this break. So like I was like, cool. Now we get to see Greens compete with another roster, and I haven't really seen that yet. Yes, he's playing tens like you said. But I was hoping to see him with another roster just to see if he can repeat those results, because that I think if he's able to go out there with a different roster and still win, then there's no question he should be number one. Like,
well, I mean, like, are your other top point guard prospects doing that? What you're saying?
What do you mean? Like,
are they playing on like non-stacked rosters and winning? Like,
I mean, I think Gallo has definitely, not saying he like. Again,
first, I don't know the PlayStation side that well. So, like, who was Gallo playing with?
He's played with a lot of different people. I don't remember who he's.
He just played with Splash.
No, Trey, no chance. No chance. Greens falls to the Wizards, in my opinion.
No.
No, dude. Let's say miraculously
I don't think he falls out of the top 10.
Let's say miraculously he falls past a lot of really smart people, and that also includes Famous at 8, who would probably just take him for the value. Jonah's sitting there at 10. He's not that stupid.
Yeah, never. I don't see him falling to what 22 or whatever it is, or the case may be, like 21. Like, I personally don't see him falling past Milwaukee, but like,
shoot, the Raptors would take him at 7.
Yeah, like I don't.
Like our next
so Gallo's been like, I just saw one of his teams. He's played with like Stick, Dewan, Box, Blackman Chess. That's just one of the rosters. All good teammates.
Yeah, right?
but I don't hold it against.
You can't hold it against
if you can play well next to good players. Isn't that the point?
You could also say a lot of point guards might not have been able to be thrown into this situation he was thrown into as well, though, and he had a lot of pressure to win with that team, right?
And he won.
And just think about it. If he didn't win, you couldn't win with that team. So now it can't be like, oh, well, now you won with that. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a little bit of like, if you go back and watch some of the games, like there's like Dap was saying in the chat, there's some games where Greens is calling Dayfry off. Like for the game winner, right? And being like, yo, Dayfry, go set block, I got it. And he's gaming it. Like that. I mean, that's impressive, right?
Yeah. I think that there's that, like, if you look at just eye tests, right? We always talk about eye tests versus just looking at numbers, looking at the rosters. Eye test, he meets the eye test. He's everything you need when it comes to the eye test. It's just that I really wanted to see him with, like, again, sure. I think Gallo, Gallo's played with pretty good people, but not like. But there's a difference between like a can't guard Robert Center and Dayfry, or like a Crush as your lock. You know what I mean? Like those are guys that are like top tier players in the league. They're not just like your Joe Blow.
Yeah, they're your tier ones. Yeah,
like those are like all the best people in the league. So that's why I'm saying like I would like, even if he was playing with like a slightly lesser talented team, I would be like, all right, I'm bought in.
Yeah, I get that.
But like he's literally playing with like Zeus, the Zeuses of the league. So like,
I agree with you on that. But I think the only thing, like, and I think Harris said it too, like you had to judge him on what he did with that team, right? He was expected to win with the team, and he won.
Yeah, he did. No,
people do this in all sports, and it has never made sense to me before. People will be like, oh yeah, well, like Tom Brady won because he had good defense. It's just like, okay, well, do you want the team to have a shitty defense and to not win? Like, what the fuck is the point of? The point is to have good fucking players on good fucking teams and win a lot. That's the whole point. And people use this as all the time.
Who's your best power forward in the league?
Best power forward in the league
right now. Best power forward in the league right now is Nugini.
Okay, but you say Dini, right? But like before all him being a power forward on the Wizards, you would have said, oh hell no. Like now it's like, so that same logic is like, okay, he's playing power forward for Awkward and Dayfry.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept. Like
good players on good teams is a good thing. How about that? Like if Greens goes to a good team and wins, fuck yeah. That's really good for the league if that happens. That's a good thing. It's a good thing when good players are on the same team. It creates. I mean, shit.
What good point guard has gone to a bad team in the league and made it a good team?
What bad?
Buck season 3. That Reg performance was, yeah. If it wasn't for Kenny, he was probably the MVP. That was crazy. No offense to Idris. Idris was great. The rest of that team, try again.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think Green's, it's fair to put in number 1, but again, like going like that Vegas tournament definitely did impact the way the number 1 pick will be chosen. Like I think that,
I think number 1 pick gets traded.
Well, yeah, that's probably gonna happen. Like that's the craziest thing is like me and Harris, we'll make a million mocks and then we'll get to draft day and we'll see breaking news. The first pick has been traded, and all our mocks are just like, all right, down the toilet. it's like all right, we're already wrong. But
I know a couple teams are within the top 10 that are.
Well, you know what's funny is teams at first were not, but now
everyone wants to move. It's fucking...
After Vegas, so what I was told is after Vegas it changed. Like now the phone's ringing. You know what I mean? Like now the phones are going off and they're getting multiple phone calls from some teams.
It's a month until the draft. Deadline creates action.
Yeah, but like I said, I just think Vegas created something too. I
think out of Vegas boosted their stock the most.
Ant season's stock.
I would say for sure.
I know, obviously, like you look at Rain. I think Rain needs to get off the board as soon as
Rain just solidified himself.
Yeah, he did solidify. He solidified himself, but now that the way he performed in that tournament, because I was just going through his stats and watching some of the games, he was going crazy. Like he was doing his thing. Like
I think one thing about Rain too is like he just seems like a good dude, right? Like I don't know, like I've never personally played with him in 5v5, but like just from watching him and like seeing how he works with his team and his teammates, like he just seems like a super laid back, like passionate and good dude. Like, and that's someone I know, like from being in the league for 4 years. Like, I want that as a teammate, right? Like, I want a guy like that who like is gonna just be bought into his position, like have a good attitude all the time. He doesn't seem to get like flustered or rattled. Like, I don't know. I like that, and I think I saw a lot of that out of him in Vegas.
Yeah, I just think though, like the draft is like trades, the way things are gonna the draft completely changed. Like I talked to Wes about this, because we did an interview with him. Just like draft board really is reset. Like I don't think people understand. Like yes, like some people like that perform in retail are still getting drafted. Greens is definitely getting drafted top 5. Like he didn't need to necessarily go to Vegas, but like there's people who jumped over other people in Vegas. Like that's like, and Harris, you bring that up all the time. Like it's not that anyone's draft stock dropped. It's just that some people have risen above other.
Do you think any point guards jumped above Greens because of Vegas?
Not in my book. No.
I think that from a talent perspective, Greens is still more talented. But it might be more about preference. You know what I mean? We talk about this all the time. Like some teams are like, I like this guy's character. I want him.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and like
this year, the top of the draft, in my opinion, is going to be very much about teams getting quote unquote their guy.
Yeah, no.
Instead
100%.
of being the best specific players, because like even last year, like whether or not Crazy was like their guy, he was the best player on the board, so they took him. Mm-hmm. Now, I think he's going to have a much better year this year, but you could tell that last year it was just kind of an uncomfortable relationship for everybody. Yeah. So, like, this year, I think teams are really looking to avoid that, which is why the Mavs, I think, are being so weird about the number 1 pick this year. Like, I think they just kind of want to take their guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Mavs, what do you do?
Trade that pick 100% because I don't think
I would take Greens or Johnny and literally just figure out the fucking rest. I can't believe that they are making such a problem.
But my biggest thing is, like, they like a lot of the guards. Like, I like a lot of the guards in this draft. Why not, if you get an opportunity to get a Gen G 6 and 16, why would you not take that and just give them the first overall and you still get a good point guard at 6? Like
why would Len do that?
Because
who underperformed to you, champ?
Who underperformed? This is a trouble. I need to admit it on that one. Because that one, I mean, there's definitely teams that got first rounded that I was just like,
very surprised about that.
I'll give you one.
Team. Very surprised about that greatness team.
I think how? But they didn't have their point guard.
They had Johnny.
He's not a point guard. We're not doing that.
Just with the overall talent, it was elite steals. Miles.
I mean, they definitely have talent, but like that's
Goofy.
like you're throwing out. You're
I was just
throwing their
surprised.
PG out the door. You know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
surprised they
Like,
got swept. It's not that I was surprised.
I think the entire
They were the
list.
two
who
seed.
they lose
you know?
to? Who they lose to? I don't know who
Bench
they
All
lost to.
Stars. They lost to Maddie, who outstanding.
Okay.
I mean, he. So we didn't get to see that series at all. Like we were there were so many other series going on. We watched this series versus Revenge Tour. Awesome. That was great. He played really well right now.
Are we talking strictly like prospects? Or are we talking just teams, like
Yeah,
players? Like
both. Like
I definitely
probably more prospect.
I was it Slight Work or Space Jam that had an early exit? I can't remember. It was one of
They both did.
Light work.
it's
Let's
like
play some of these
Light
ones.
Work lost first round. Like they
Yeah,
played
They got beat by
play-in
Seam. EG
and lost
like
the team. Yeah, lost the team.
EG forgot how to miss for like 2 whole games.
But, like my thing is looking at a Slight Work roster where you have Fab, Compete, Lottie, Ramo, Majestic. Or wait, Lottie wasn't there. Was like
No, they played with Jaden.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But either way, like that roster has I'm not like again, those are like OGs, but like you have a team with and Seam has been hot in this pre-draft. I have to give it to him. But like
Yes.
you go out there with that roster, and this is a roster full of guys who've all been notable names in the league, and you get first rounded. It's kind of like okay, like what's going on? Like like that's just I don't know. That I think they really underperformed for for the talent they had on that roster.
Based on the names on the roster, sure.
Yeah, but like again, I think that Seam's team had a lot better chemistry because they've been playing a lot more together. I think
Team win a WR
yeah, they've won a lot of things.
or MPBA, one of the two.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they did.
They've won a lot of stuff. Like I went through all the stuff. They've won multiple things together. And I don't know how much that Seam's roster has changed like over this pre-draft, but I feel like those guys have been together for a while.
No, dude, Reloaded has been him and Polo have been playing a lot recently together, and also Josh out the corner doesn't get talked a lot. He's a good player too. I like that whole team. That whole team's really good.
I just think with the greatness team, man, like to fly out to an event and then all of a sudden you find out your point guard can't play. Like that's a big wrench.
It was all, but that's kind of the point, right? It was disappointing, right?
For sure.
I think that listen, and no tolerance has been good all pre-draft. To see them get upset by Built for this,
I was gonna say no tolerance. I was gonna say no tolerance.
Like to see them get upset by Built for this, like again, they picked up. They literally like Ant season booked a flight like the day of to come in and fill in a spot for a team. And I'm not saying Ant was the reason. Like Ant, like all right, I don't want to give him too much credit for what he did in the tournament because he played shooting guard. Antoine was a big part of like the success for that team. But like the fact that they pick up a player last minute, and that roster, I'll be honest with you, like, and again, on paper is always different than actual performance from a team. But the fact that team, like for what they did, and the fact that they upset a team that, like, let's be honest, like they were definitely one of the favorites on the PlayStation side, and they got beat. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where like
they're probably the favorite, no?
Yeah, I mean you had no look on the
Science probably 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
So we need to talk about how Spartan should play center this year because he went toe to toe. Yeah. He went toe to toe with Hezzy in that tournament. That was really impressive. And also
I like Spartan at power forward though.
The whole team. Like I mean I like not Symptoms. I liked Logic as well, but Logic, I didn't like what he did against Sherm. He got freaking tortured.
Everybody, dude, Sherm cooked everybody. It was fine. He literally cooked every lock he played.
Sherm was hooping that day. Like,
yeah, someday the guards just got it right.
That's what it is. Like, and as much as you say, like Sherm was cooking Logic or whatever, like Sherm was cooking the team because this year it's not on the lock to stop the guard. It's not, bro.
Maybe it was just the builds that we had in the league, but like. I don't know, man. That was the best I've ever seen Sherm look. Like, he looked great during the turn also, but he was just moving at a different speed, man. It was really impressive.
Who did Denial?
He hadn't played in like weeks. It's so funny, man. Like the whole time, he was just laughing. Sherm was laughing that entire tournament. It was amazing.
I'm pretty sure they lost to Ant in game 3. I could be wrong.
Let me know. So what team are they? Denial, right? They lost. They lost in the second. They lost in the second round.
Yeah.
I think it went game 3.
Yeah, Bill for this went to game 3 a lot, but they pulled a bunch of them out.
But either way, like again, I think that there's always that Cinderella run, right? Like that team that just like, no one expected to be good, does great in the tournament. Like it's like a Knicks gaming story, right? Like you have a team that like, like no way they're gonna go all the way, right? And then they go all the way, Like the fact that they went that far, it was PlayStation Finals, correct? Yeah, they went to the PlayStation Finals against Revenge Tour. But again,
and weren't they up 1-0 in that series?
Yeah, I think it started out 1-0, and then Revenge Tour reverse sweeped it.
Won the next 2, right?
Do you know who I feel the worst for? I think through everything, I feel bad for Shots, man. He just keeps
Connor.
getting the rug pulled out from under him. This season with the Nets, they finally get to the playoffs.
I mean, it was
they
a toe-to-toe
they get all the way to
series,
the finals, then they lose. Then he loses chalk, so his team's probably gonna be bad this year. Then he gets
he's had a rough straw,
and
bro.
this random ENG team beats them in a game 3 off of like a miracle crab with 2 seconds left.
Yeah,
It's just brutal that he didn't jump at. The one time he didn't jump at spam in the mid range is the one time he greens over. It was brutal. Poor shots.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So
And Connor, you can see it in his face.
He was so defeated.
The player cam's like, man, Connor.
He can't catch
I
a
love
break.
Connor.
Poor guy.
Fuck, bro. My man be
Poor
going through.
guy. The mask is definitely there for shots, but I don't know.
It's such a bang play, bro. Like it's so like he got put in a tough situation at the end. Like
Farewell lost
He went from Blazers to absolute poverty in ATL too. That season 2 Hawks.
All I'm gonna say is this build for this team had such a hard freaking tournament schedule. They played Denial, Farewell, built No Tolerance, and then they played Revenge Tour. They had the gulag of a tournament. Like they had to play the hardest teams almost every round. Like that is insane. Like there wasn't an easy matchup for them. Like it wasn't like
AMT might have put up a better fight though against No Tolerance. It's kind of the thing.
I mean, KMT. The thing is, like the Xbox side was so top heavy.
I mean, the Xbox side was weak.
Yeah, it was. And that's the hardest thing about the Xbox side, like, judging it, is because, like, you had such a stack. Like, there was so many teams on PlayStation.
Like, no offense, but, like, No Look didn't even have a challenge until they met, ENG.
That was a challenge for about a half.
But, like, like, the other teams were, like, warm-up games. Like, no offense to them, but, like...
No, dude, that No Look squad had a pretty easy run to the top. And not to say easy, because obviously winning is always hard, but I mean, they certainly made it look pretty fucking easy.
Yeah, it was bad.
They smoked everybody. Like, none of their games were close.
You guys like flip over, they're up 40. It's like, all right.
I repeated the stat that they had 40 points at halftime of every single game that they played. Like, you can't lose that way.
Mm-hmm. I feel like KMT would have been a better matchup for them for No Look. I feel like KMT would have had a different matchup versus like.
Sherm's right, man. They just have 5 guys who are just
they work well with each other, right? Like
they've been playing together for a while too. Like all the amount of time those guys have been playing pre-drop, it's insane. Like I know
it goes back to Sherm's team success too, though. Like they've been playing each other for so long as well. Like they just went out there and had fun, man. Like and they just.
But you know it's funny. It's funny. Like every team was together, and then you have a team like Ant's team who like. You know, you throw Ant onto a roster. I don't know how much those other guys have played together, but it sounds like it's just a roster that was kind of thrown together for Vegas, from what it sounds like to me.
Who's
built for this?
Oh, I mean, Champ, I just gotta say, Kai's built different, man. He calls both of us clowns on stage, then it ends up in both of our chats. He's just.
No,
I don't think I forgot about that.
Let's not boost that guy's head anymore than it already is, but
yeah, no, don't.
I mean, he's definitely good.
Dude,
they just work well with each other, man. Like I don't know.
Oh my god,
everything just seemed easier for them when I was watching the games.
Dude, yeah. I was just when I saw them playing against my team, I was just like, oh, like it was so tough watching. Like I literally watched them to shred the hell out of like the defense. Like they scored, what was it? How many points at the half? 40? It was like 40 points at halftime. Like at both games, like it was like 40 at half or something like that. Like they literally didn't like they could not get a stop on No Look. It was insane. Like that team, like you know,
how many people did?
I know you talked about this on BFW Live, Harris, about how like you know they talked about like the T-Wolves. Like I think Frank said it was about the T-Wolves. Like are the T-Wolves like a favorite or something or anything? Like and like you brought up the point like the league is a lot different. You know what I mean? You have full on stacked rosters of teams that have been obviously labbing for months to play. And it's a lot different on the competitive end of that. So, but like, what is like the expectation for T-Wolves game, especially because most of their guys have been playing together in the offseason and they just won this tournament. So like, we talk about eventually we'll talk about ceilings for teams because just like last year we'll talk about the floor and the ceiling for teams. But like, what is your expectation at this point?
Well, the league has hit the point that like a lot of other sports teams hit, or sports leagues hit, where every single year you have like 5 real teams that have a chance to win the title. Those are your contenders. Then you have like your second tier, which are like playoff teams. Then you have your third tier, which are like in the middle of rebuild teams. Then you have your fourth tier, which is like teams that suck and are rebuilding.
You're going into season 5 now?
Yeah, T Wolves are in that contender category with like 4 or 5 other teams, right? Like, I don't think there's like one team that's like the best that you'd say like, oh, this is the best team in the league going into next year. I think we learned last year that like there's just a collection of teams at the top, and they're gonna fucking duke it out with the Wizards gone to figure out who's the best.
Can I ask a question? Eventually, at one point for the league, is it like because the T Wolves obviously the first year in their existence they won a title, right? Is that type of like so like the Bucks or like any team like a team that's like in that rebuild mode, like the Wizards who like had the first overall and then went to being a title like champion, like is that gonna like slowly go away because of how like deep teams are gonna get
Yes.
you see like the freaking you're seeing it already. You're seeing dynasties being built like for the Warriors. You know that team is freaking like loaded up, and you have the T Wolves that now have this loaded up team. You know you add Shifty. You add Shifty to that team. It's starting to look like teams are getting very top heavy in the league. And again, obviously the retainment process will change things as teams join because players will get taken from those rosters. But like it's just looking like a lot of teams are starting to really build up their rosters, and it's going to get hard to really like be a first year team or like a rebuild team and go from the bottom to the top. Like it's looking harder.
I disagree. I think you have teams that can if you know what you're doing in this league, you can definitely turn your team around in one off season for sure. You just have to know. You just have to know what the fuck you're doing.
And like pickups, yeah, 100%.
You can easily. It's still an esport at the end of the day, and things are still pretty.
We don't have one team that's a juggernaut team. Like, now, I mean, especially now that JBM retired, right? Yeah. Like, there's no juggernaut team.
All we have left is the Evil Empire, and they've never won a title.
I think every year you're gonna see like surprise teams that do better than people expect, right? Like you're always gonna see it. So it just depends again, like how people draft, right? Like I know a lot of people probably right off that Kings team, like, but if Mama gets back to being like Mama, like Crush with Dayfry and they draft, or not Dayfry, but Walnut and they draft right, that's a good team, right? Like the Warriors, like you said, is a really good team. Like T-Wol's going to be a good team. Like I don't see the Pacers slowing down. You know what I mean? It's like depending on what they do. I've heard rumors about something
they might draft a point guard and let fucking 630 Kai this bitch up.
I mean. They're going to be good. Like there's a lot of teams that are going to be good.
Harris, I'm surprised if they go with like an Uncool Matty type pick.
I would love that.
I don't see that.
I don't see it, but I would love that.
That
would probably be the best place for no cap to fall to, but that's not going to happen.
I don't know exactly what. There's a lot of things going on. I don't even think the freaking Warriors are taking a power forward. I think they're doing what they did last year, where they took a really talented player and put him at a different position.
Who?
The Warriors. I don't think the Warriors are taking a power forward prospect. I think.
Why don't you think that?
Because I just have a weird feeling that they're going to be taking overall talented player. Like you look at Guns. I mean, don't get me wrong. Guns has like I never saw Guns
multiple positions.
Yeah, but like Guns' primary thing coming to the pre-draft was lockdown, and like again,
he played 2, 3, 4, 5. He played all of them.
Yeah, but they drafted him to be a center. You know what I mean? Like that. I
think they have a guy though. Like I think they have a guy who they want at the 4. Like
one guy.
You know what I mean?
Guys, this is the evil empire.
Come
on, like I know who it is. But
they have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, the rest of the fucking alphabet. All right, this is the Death Star.
I'm not saying he can play it great, but I've seen him play it.
They'll figure it out. You know, they're the
play it better than some people. Crush, I'll say that. I don't know. I don't think they're thinking about it like that, champ. To be honest,
they're the Warriors, man. They'll end up with the best pick. Watch, they'll take whoever drops. And then they'll be like, how the fuck did this guy drop all the way to the Warriors? It's
you're definitely not 1 through 5 Guns. That's for sure. I didn't give you that much credit. You're definitely not 1 through 5.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they get a future first too, just to keep building the empire.
Rigby, you know how the Warriors go, man. We'll call them geniuses no matter who they pick. It's the fucking it's the Dubs, man. It's what they do.
Either way, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what a lot of these teams go with, but.
Draft team 630 and just fucking roast the entire league with incredible one-on-one play.
I would love to see.
Dude, just take Seam. Seam and 630 in the backcourt is the best possible combination. It is like
that would be an awesome combo.
Average 45 between the two of you and let Jomar do the rest. Like I don't know what else you need. Who?
I think BP gets picked, and if he does, where do you think he goes?
It's really
Rigby. My voice is completely totally gone.
It's really. It's so hard because like I don't think he's going to be a first round selection. Like I think that
he's not a first round talent.
he has talent, but it's just it's preference. We talk about this every year. Like, there's certain teams that he's just not going to fit, and like the team's not going to want him. Like same thing goes for Ant Season, right? Ant Season's talented, but he doesn't fit every roster. He won't go number one because of just like that's not what they want. Like that's basically kind of been confirmed to me. He's not going number one, and I think that a lot of people obviously could probably say that, but like a guy who's really talented, he's not going to go number one because he's just not a fit for them. But either way, like a lot of teams are going to be like that. Like Kenny Zeus is a good I feel like Kenny Zeus fits a lot of teams' personalities, but he's not necessarily the most talented guard. Like he's talented, I just don't think like he's more talented than certain guys. Like I think Gallo's more talented than Kenny Zeus, but I think Kenny Zeus could possibly go higher than Gallo just because of a fit situation versus talent.
The Mavs are doing some weirdo shit with number one, so I just hope they don't fuck it up. Because if they do, I'll be there.
They're gonna be.
I'll be there to tell them that they fucked up. So, don't fuck up.
Wait, Rigby, get in the Discord. Like if you want to talk, you keep writing the chat. The Discord, I put the link like 20 times.
Draft's gonna be fun this year, man. We're gonna learn a lot. We always learn a lot about the league at every single draft. Just what direction the league wants to go, how exactly teams are going to be constructed, like what our offense is going to look like. Like I think the biggest part about the league that's going to change that people don't see yet is that the point guard / shooting guard roles in the league are going to evaporate, and it's just going to become guards. Like both guard positions at some point are going to have the same ability. And I know that's kind of like annoying that it's going to be a lot of 3 hunting, but like the pure sharp is dead. The pure sharp is completely dead.
Yeah. I just think that we're going to see like the amount of moves that have already happened in this offseason, not just a drafting himself. No, but the amount of like moves I've seen in this offseason, like the draft, like last year, like Harris, remember there was never like a trade, like in the draft besides like that one, like, trade with the Blazers and, Celtics. Besides that, there was never really any trades in the draft, but last year we had like, I talked about it. I said that there was going to be like, it's this crazy like amount of trades that would happen this last year, and it did. I think it just the floodgates opened up. Teams finally start making moves in the drafts and actually dropping their nuts basically in drafts. Because in past years, I feel like a lot of teams kind of played it safe, didn't want to trade back or trade or sacrifice things to get certain players, so they kind of just stayed at their pick and waited for someone to fall to them compared to jumping up and trying to take somebody. Because if you trade everything away and you jump up to take a player and they suck, it's just the worst feeling in the world. So like, I just think that like this year's draft, like GMs and coaches have definitely become a lot more aggressive when it comes to just navigating and making moves. That I think that this draft is just there's no way you could obviously predict any draft perfectly, but like this draft is going to have so much parity in it, and it's just there's going to be so much movement. I think, in my opinion, with just picks in general. Like we've never had the number one pick like traded, and this is the first time we have potential for that to happen. So like it's going to be interesting in my opinion. Like the fact that that's the parity right now.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of top picks traded.
Yeah, I just don't think that again on draft day the Mavs will not have the number one pick. I just think that there's too much like potential for them to like get more picks to build for the future versus just holding that pick, because again, unless there's a generational talent, and what I mean by generational talent, like, is there a Rhea in this draft? Like, is Green's like, is he going to be a top 5 guard in the league? Like, that's the question you have to ask yourself. Not that he's a top guard in this draft class. Is Green's going to be a top guard in the 2K league? Like, if you were Toxsik, I know that you're like, I don't want you to necessarily put your bias in, but like, where do you think Green's as like a PG in the league will be? Like, is he going to be top 5, top 10?
Yeah, I mean, like that's it's hard to sit here and say like he's going to be one of the best PGs in 2K League history. Like, do I think he has
that's
that
for us,
ceiling?
Jam. That's for us to figure out.
Oh yeah.
Do I think he has that ceiling. Like, I think he has the potential, but like I think a lot of people have had potential and didn't meet it. So like I don't know. Like a lot of that's going to fall too. Like, where does he go? Like, where does he go? Like, who's on his team? Like, does he have veteran leadership around him? Like, no matter what, no matter where Greens goes, and a lot of these younger point guards, like, there's gonna be bumps in the roads, right? Like, 100%. But like, again, like, matters who's around him, what org he's on. Like, a lot of that matters. So,
yeah. One thing I have to say, because I just saw Forget the Future, who
Yeah,
won
Cash. I don't think so. I agree. I like what Cash said. Like, I don't know if there's a top 5 anything in this draft. To be honest, that's to be determined, right? Like, I don't know.
But if that's
we knew JBM was going to be JBM, right? Like, we knew Rhea was going to be Rhea. Like,
we're also, this is also the 5th year in the league. So if you think about it this way, right, like the league has been collecting high-end talent for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So this isn't like when we're saying like, oh, like in season 3, like we're going to find all the stars. Well, of course we were. We've only had 2 years of total talent collection. Right. So it's double that now. And I think you're also seeing this, right? Like the ages of the prospects right now, they're getting younger every year. A lot of these guys are 18, 19. The past couple of years, they were, Chalk's age, right? Like 21, 22, some in their mid-20s. Now it's like, man, it's a lot of kids, 18, 19, 20, like very, very young. It's a lot different now.
Yeah, I think he was going to be good. But I didn't know. I didn't even know you were going to go play center until like
exactly
late into it. But I knew you were going to be a good player.
My thing is like if you're going to this draft knowing that these prospects are like, let's say I get to draft day and I don't feel like any of these prospects are going to be top 5 in their position for the number 1 pick, because that's what really every number 1 pick, but maybe outside of Dimes, has been basically like a
top of their
crazy
position.
Yeah, and crazy. I feel like it's kind of like, all right, this year's kind of going to show if whether or not he is that, like, because last year was kind of just like,
I want to see Crazy on lock in the league is what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, if he wants to play center in the league, that's fine. I just think that he's a way more impactful wing. Like him being crushed on that team is so much more impactful than him like trying to play center. And I know he's probably great at center, but it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. But like just looking at like the draft,
he's a cracked 4 also, man. He is crazy at the 4. He was making like some defensive moves that you just don't see.
I mean, he's always been a great defensive player. Like that's a lot of us know him from that. Like coming up,
I could see Zay potentially being that guy, like a Rhea of the draft, like who just overall. I don't know. I think also
Zay's good.
I think also with 3v3, you get it's like the same.
You get a lot from him.
Yeah, it's like you talk about Greens and Zay, like it's 2 guys that are like multi-purpose, which is like I don't think you can go wrong with either or. Like, no. And if you don't like either of those prospects, then trade out of the pick. Like that's the only reason I would see the Mavs trading out of the pick, is if they feel like, okay, like we don't really feel like either of these prospects are going to be like a.
He's definitely not a Rhea though.
Nobody's that kid. He might be the best 2K player of all time. I mean, do you know what's the funny thing about Rhea? When like this is like the shit that you hear, people talk about his 2K skills like he's fucking like Paul Bunyan. It's so funny. They're like, dude, I remember this one time he was playing shooting guard. He put up 60. He missed 2 shots.
No,
he had 12 steals. Like people just come up with like the funniest stories about him playing 2K.
Bro, he's Wilt Chamberlain of 2K, bro. Like he didn't exist. Like we're gonna be 20. It's gonna be 20 years down the line. He didn't exist. Like, well, I still don't believe Wilt Chamberlain existed with the stats I see. That like whenever I like see like a record and like they're like, oh yeah, he had 40 or something crazy. It's like, bro, what? It's like, no, it's not real. It's fake. But no, I mean, I just think that like I wouldn't blame the Mavs trading out of the pick, but at the same time, like I think you just grab Greens or Zay and then you.
It depends on what they're trying to do, right? Like, are they trying to keep Jerry? Like,
I mean,
are they gonna trade Jerry? Like,
are they trying to keep Jerry?
I mean, I don't think they have a choice because no one wants to. Like, they haven't been able to make a move. Like, it's definitely been attempted, but they haven't had.
Tell me they can't trade Sick.
No, they tried.
That's just surprising.
I won't lie, Tox. It's really hard to move centers right now. The center market is completely dead. Totally dead.
It's just like I feel like next year the center pool will be a lot different, but like it's kind of like the market, right? Like everyone owns that stock, but next year I think you're going to see a lot of the spots open up. So then that like the trade potential will be a lot different for like the trade value will be a lot different for Jerry next year compared to now, in my opinion. Like that's just how I look at it, at least. I think right now there's 3 center spots. Like there's only so many places he can get traded to. And if those 3 franchises don't want him, then like, what are you going to do? You're going to take your center and put him at power forward?
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to just trade him to a team that needs a center spot. Like some teams have, for example, like some teams have people like just give an example, like Yusuf, right? He can play the 4 and 5. Like
yeah, but like
This place you can slot him in.
But no matter what, Jerry's playing center. So wherever he's going,
I mean, that also depends on who he's playing with, right? Like, what if the Mavs would have got Dayfry? Like, you think Jerry, if they kept Jerry and got Dayfry, they wouldn't consider Jerry going to the 4, of course. Like,
but will Jerry want to go to the 4?
I mean, I can't answer that. I don't know, but like,
that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
I mean, like, I know he wants to win.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? Look, season 1, I had Jerry at fucking point guard, right? Like you do what you gotta do to win games, bro. Like,
that's a throwback.
You know, like we do what you do to win games at the end of the day. Like,
that's too funny, dude.
So listen, I played pure sharp, but now I played sharpshooter last year to make the playoffs. There,
does it make you sad, Tox, that the pure sharp is fading away? Because it makes me really sad. I loved it.
Does it make
season
me
2.
sad?
Makes me sad.
Shit, I got off that shit after season 1. I never looked back.
Dude, season 2 with like A-Rooks and Screddy and Malik playing more of like a catch and shoot sharp. Oh man, that's season 2.
Yeah,
sharp.
you don't really see that much anymore.
That shit anymore. It's so sad.
Perfusion.
Oh man, holy cow! That dude was like 20 points a game.
Yeah,
throwback. No, it's sad. Now it's just a bunch of guards dribbling. It's okay, but
I mean, I think it depends also a lot on like just how 2K's played. Like it just hasn't really been played like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a catch. It's not a catch and shoot game anymore. It's a ball handlers league now.
Who knows? Eventually, like it might go back there, right? Yeah, no, season 2 Beast Smooth was crazy.
Yeah.
Akina could barely score that year, and you guys still made it far.
He had 11. He was 11-5.
Yeah, like one of the least like points per game out of any point guard in the league.
Bro, he went from 11-5 to 31-10
because
over 2K. It's crazy.
Beast Smooth was definitely the best sharp that year.
Mm-hmm. Him and A-Rooks. Remember A-Rooks almost dragged that horrible Bucks team to the playoffs?
Yeah, remember he had like 50 against Walnut?
Mm-hmm. He had Chatty Nick at point guard. Elite.
Oh, God. I forgot. There's been some great. Red State Gamer.
Oh, jeez. RSG. Remember when they took did they take RSG? No, they took Plondo.
That was that year.
Yeah.
That was season 2. Yeah. That was.
I played against some names that you wouldn't even remember. Cowboy Colazzo.
Man in the Car, man. That's the best name ever.
There's been a lot, bro. Yeah, now Reese was really good too, JT.
Palm oil, please.
Yeah, he was cool people though.
No. But I want to ask you guys a question about this Vegas tournament real quick.
Yeah.
What prospect has made the biggest leap in this tournament besides like I know we kind of talked about like Ant obviously kind of made a leap, but like what's a prospect that was kind of like not on the radar that now could get like that will get drafted, not potentially drafted, but will get drafted?
Toxsik.
You think
Toxsik? I think it was pretty likely that he was going to get drafted before this, but like you never know with the lock position, right? Lock position's completely, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But like now, I think he pretty much like locked in at least a draft spot with somebody.
It's hard, honestly. Like from my perspective, like I just know how the draft goes, right? Like, and I know like I've been on the other side, right? So like I've been on the retained side and I've been on the unretained side. So like I know what teams are thinking like when you're all retained and you're sitting there talking about who we want to draft. Like I know what teams think. So like I think it's tough. Like I think obviously like you said like with the Ant situation, champ, like everyone knew like what Ant was. So like I think it has helped him even more doing what he did in Vegas.
And I think it was more for Ant. It was just people getting to know him more than what he did on the court. Like that was like the biggest thing is his character. That like
for sure.
After seeing the way that he like navigates a team and talks to his team, like,
sure.
It's so I have video footage because like I was doing a lot of like content creation and just like recording stuff.
Yeah.
And like just I have this one where he just basically.
I think there's it's hard to say one right answer for this. Harris like. Yeah, there's so many guys like you said.
Because so much of it
played really well at center. I think he proved like he.
It's hard to know if Fakey will ever get drafted because center is so weird. Perm is the same way, bro.
Perm played really well. Like the Logic played well.
You had Maddie up there, buddy.
That's
great. That's great, right? That's great.
At the one played well, right?
Do we even know if Maddie's can play point guard in the league? Like, is he going to get drafted to play point guard? We don't know.
What's great about him though is he's versatile like that. That's a great like. I think Maddie's going to get drafted now. After like, I think that he was performing well in pre-draft, but this kind of like. Put his name on a lot of boards. Like I think that people always knew.
I think his performance in Vegas made a team comfortable enough to say we want him at our PG.
Not,
I think if you're the Hornets or the Nets, definitely.
yeah. Like, I think if you have one of those late picks, also like if you have a guy who can play, multiple positions, so like it's not going to kill you to take him. Like, you know what I mean? Like even if you need, like even if like I don't want to say take him at shooting guard, but like if you have multiple needs in your team, and you take Matty, like I don't think you can go wrong. Like
I think Matty's really good. I think what's best about him is that he'll play anywhere. But I think here's what kind of comes up with Vegas, right?
Yeah,
Vegas matters a lot, but it also kind of doesn't really change anything, right? Like it matters for some, but like for others, it didn't really change much. Like there's so many more prospects that your opinion doesn't change about, that for the guys that it does change, it like I guess it really makes them stick out. But none of these guys. I don't think anybody like grabbed hold of the number one pick like we were thinking they would.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like the point guard rankings like drastically changed, besides like Ant being probably likely to get picked. Like nothing really changed. I think what we said, Champ, before the tournament, you and I both agreed, we're like, what this tournament's really going to matter for are like those second tier locks and power forwards. Because now those guys like the Ranges and the Logic Starks and the Dougs and the Seizes and like those guys who like are gonna go mid to late second no matter what, the 50-50 picks, that's what this tournament mattered for. It's the 50-50 picks.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just took the words out of my mouth with the 50-50 picks. Like I think this decided the 50-50s for a lot of people when it came to
definitely.
Like GMs and coaches, like when this is where like they watch certain prospects and like they're like, okay, like I like that guy more. Plus, I got to see him, how he communicates with his team on the court, and how he is as a person. Like, he's my choice. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that made a huge difference.
Yeah, that's kind of what Vegas was, and it was really great. Like, let me tell you, man. Like, I developed a relationship with Perm over the past 2 years. Like, he's a really good dude. He's definitely, he's one of the older guys, so he's one of the more mature guys. Seeing him up there on that stage performing like that, when I know how like much of his ass he's put into this game and this year, it's really cool. It's a really great story, and I feel like there were a lot of really great stories like that. Like Fakey too, man. Like just busting his fucking ass to get back into the league and try to remake his reputation. Like that's what makes this league so cool, is that it presents guys with so many different challenges. And that's kind of why I've stuck around too. Like, I don't know, man. Like I've seen a lot of people in this league like grow and change, and it's kind of cool to see the same thing with prospects year over year. Like just how they change as players and their attitudes towards stuff. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm just interested to see like who like we talk about no one's like I constantly hear no one's stock drop. Everyone just passed each other, but someone's stock had to have dropped. Like there's no way like you can tell me like.
Oh, do you want to talk about Seldom?
I mean, yeah, that's kind of the person I was kind of like falling into. Like,
how about this? Let me present to you something with Seldom.
You guys are
present to you something with him. So now, because obviously he didn't play all that well. His team, the defense was great. The Liquid defense was great. He obviously struggled with scoring. But does his one Vegas performance erase everything he's done this offseason?
No.
And if you go back and look at what he's done this offseason, what did that warrant anyway? Oh, yeah. What did his skill set warrant anyway in this draft?
What I noticed the most when I was watching them play, Harris?
What?
Like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like in every big situation, he gave the ball to Glizzy.
Yep. And then, do you know what? That's one of, it's kind of funny, I'm going to say this, it's kind of one of his skills and one of the reasons why he still might get picked. Because if you think about the teams that he would have realistically gone to, right? Like, we were talking about him as like second round pick point guard, right? So let's talk about like Mass, who might take a shooting guard 1 with Johnny. We're talking about the Hornets, who already have Rigby at the 2. Yeah. And we're talking about the Nets, who have shots down low. Those were his options anyway. So I argue this to you, Champ. Did Seldom's options change?
No,
at all.
I think that.
So if that's true, has his stock changed?
But the thing is, certain prospects like Matty now kind of threaten his draft stock. Like,
oh yeah, but the 50-50s are going to be much harder for him now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the teams that he was going to go to are the teams that he was most likely to go to are still the teams he's most likely to go to.
I think if I'm Seldom at this point, I think what's really important, because like, all right, we talk about like those late round, first round picks. What is something that could like kind of like help you get over that hump? Like Fana, like the one thing about Fana, okay, you know what? He can bring you a 3v3 team, right? Like, I feel like Seldom needs to go into one of these park tournaments and like, because we know what he can do in 5v5, but I think that if he needs to go into one of these 3v3 tournaments before the draft, and like, you know, basically hoop, because if he does, it adds something to him as a player. So like when it comes to like those late round picks, and I look at Fana versus Seldom, and I'm like, oh well, Fana is really good at 3v3, and he's pretty solid at 5v5. You know, Seldom I think is a little better at 5v5, but what do we have for 3v3? You know what I mean? Like
here's the real issue, champ. Competitiveness in this community can only take you so far. Like if you're really, really hyper competitive, you can definitely like be a really good 2K player. But at point guard, it's really difficult because you're just going to kind of get pushed off the court by guys who can just score better. Like here, I'll take DVJT for an instance, right? Like he probably doesn't have the dribbling skills to keep up with point guards in the league anymore. But his competitiveness is just so fucking intense that he's now moved positions 3 different times to try to make the league back. Like, that's dedication. And I think the issue with Seldom is that, like, I don't know if he has, like, the overall dribbling skills to keep up with point guards in the league. So he needs to find a team that he really, like, hyper plays into his skill set and that competitiveness. It's hard, though. Mm-hmm. DBJG says, I dribble better than Seldom. Hey, that's you, my guy. It's just, that's the thing with Seldom, man. He's won a lot this year for a lot of reasons. He's got a lot of great skills. It's just about finding the team that's going to like take those skills to the next level. Like Sherm, for instance, right? On that Hornets team last year, there are a lot of teams that Sherm could have been on last year where that team would have sucked. Because he wasn't a big-time scorer. He was a playmaker and a defender. But that Hornets team...
He's a sleepy scorer, though. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, like, he's definitely streaky. But at the same time, like they figured out the perfect way to use him with Rigby and Crown and Trap and that defense, and they were fucking dope. And they won that great turn tournament. So it's just about finding the right fit.
Hopeback was it was in Vegas, right?
Yeah, he played with Crush with them.
Yeah, I know. I was just making sure. I didn't actually get to see what he looked like, so I was just curious.
Yeah, he was.
You know what's crazy is that I don't even think it's funny because the same thing kind of happened with Liquid that happened with No Tolerance. Is that like the No Tolerance guards just couldn't really shoot? I don't know if they were like delayed or whatever in that series, but like the No Tolerance defense was still fucking dope. I mean. Put back in Hezi were outstanding down there. They just couldn't score. I think they were lagging. It just didn't really go all that well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's like this tournament was tough for a lot of people. Like, I don't want to. I hate just using Seldom as an example because I think it's just that he's had like one of the bigger names in this pre-draft, so it's kind of like he's like that. You know, that he just sticks out the most.
Randoms, I compare Sherm to Seldom because from a gameplay perspective, that's probably Seldom's ceiling.
So I'm about to hit you.
Sherm is like the best version of what Seldom's skill set could become. And again, like there's always going to be good versions of those kind of players, right? Like, but at the same time, it's probably not likely that Seldom is going to be Sherm 2.0. Like, it's not likely.
I have a question for you, Harris. So, no cap. What has changed about his stock?
Nothing.
You're gonna have to talk to the other GMs about it because they seem to know a lot more about him than I do. I just watch him play and I see a guy with a lot of potential, but like they're talking about him going like 5 or like even as high as like 3, maybe. I mean, I think he'd be much better suited on a team like the Pacers. Where he can like play make and like use his IQ and like just maneuver through defenses, hit the corners, hit Jomar, find 630. Like I think that would be such a better fit. Yeah, like a real like good Rajon Rondo system point guard. But like instead he's gonna go to like a team where he's like maybe he goes to like Duke's and he has Killy as his 2 at least. That's fine. But like I don't know. Like I think there are teams that he could fit on better.
I personally think the earliest he should go is like the Wizards pick. In my opinion,
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be an amazing spot for him to go.
I just think that I think he's a good guy. He's really good at controlling the floor. Obviously, like the Vegas tournament, he was playing with a roster that was kind of just like it wasn't like an actual roster. Like you had JBM. What was JBM? What did JBM play? What position was he on?
He was playing center. That liquid buckets team was like very like strange.
Like I don't think that like it necessarily changed his stock, but it didn't like the only thing that we learned was like maybe his personality. Maybe people got to see. Like I got to talk to him.
I heard nothing about them, and then all of a sudden, one of the producers comes up to me and says, "Hey, Liquid Buckets just got 2-0'd by ENG, and No Cap scored 0 points in a game." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. So
and that was all I heard about them. That was all I heard about them all day.
So he scored nothing?
He scored nothing, apparently. I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just what I was told by a producer. And then all of a sudden, I see JVM and Potts leaving, and I didn't see the team for the rest of the tournament. It was gone. I don't know if that was true. That was just literally what I was told in the production booth.
I'm definitely gonna look that up, but that's crazy if that is.
It's
like,
just
you don't.
But that
Like back to,
I don't know.
I remember I was asking.
I could be wrong.
VP,
I
like,
honestly could be wrong.
I'm gonna
Like,
leave
just
everybody
you
alone.
guys can tell me in the chat. You guys can ask him. That's just what a producer came up and told
Zero
me.
is crazy though.
Yeah, because if that's true, that's
It was 0 for 10. Nah, that's wild.
no way.
But I'm not gonna lie. Like, that doesn't surprise me. Like, I called 2 of his finals. One of his finals, he was awful. The other one, he was really good, and that was fun to watch because he does have like kind of JBM Kina like floor vision kind of bullshit sometimes. But he has like real issues scoring, and his decision making sometimes was bad. I think he has a lot of potential. It's just people talking about him as the 5th pick. I'm like, who?
I just
No,
think
Kai was the 5th pick, man. Kai was the 5th pick in season 3. That's. Whew.
I think that for him, he's kind of just someone you have to develop. Like, I don't think he's like to that point. And that's why I said I think the earliest he should go is 20. Like, I don't think he's to that point to where like he's like gonna change a franchise. I think he's to a point to where you're gonna have to.
No. I disagree, champ. Like, he could go to a Pacers team and help win them a title. Like, he's that kind of player.
Yeah,
but I don't think he can win himself. I don't think he can like be the guy to do it.
He can't be the only guy.
He can be really good with a good 2 guard next to him. Like, you put him on that liquid team with Glizzy, and I think that team probably runs a little bit better. They probably run a little bit
He's
like,
a
smoother.
super aggressive shooting guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just.
I don't know. Like hypothetically speaking, let's say the fucking Knicks trade Duck or something. The Knicks would be a 6 spot for him with Glow and Malik and a good lock. That'd be great.
I don't know. I'm so interested.
But again, I'm not even trying to like flame him over the 0 point thing. I don't know. If it's not true, I will happily report it otherwise. This is what I was told.
I'm just trying to find what burner they had that game on because I am trying to find that game.
But that's the thing. Like, there's so many series this week of good teams just vanishing. I've never even seen a greatness box score. Did that series even happen? Are we sure? They were gone.
Goofy.
Dude, they were fucking gone. I literally, we didn't see them play. We didn't hear that they started. All of a sudden, I just got told that they got 2-0, and they were gone. Poof.
That's crazy. It's just
I saw the back of Johnny Red's jersey once, and I don't think I saw him for the rest of the weekend. I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, I'm serious. Like, we were on the broadcast desk. I couldn't see a lot. Only so many people came up and said hi to me. But yeah, it was crazy, dude. Being in the production booth, the amount of shit that we were being told, like through and through stuff was hilarious. It was so funny. Like, Perry kept coming over saying funny shit to us. Coach Jay kept coming over saying funny shit to us. Like, they would just find out that funny shit happened or funny games happened and tell us.
that's just I don't know.
It was great.
It's just wild to me seeing like some of the like there's like you said like the fact that like greatness was 2-0'd and just or whatever. Were they 2-0'd or were they just first rounded?
They're 2-0. Maddie and the bench all-stars got them the fuck out of there. Like,
That's just I don't know, man. It's
yeah, Spam just posted it. He was over 6. Goon had 25 points.
I'm trying to find. I wish I could find that. I
No, Spam just tweeted it out. I'm looking at it.
Wait, the ENG thing?
Yeah, he had 5 assists. Yeah, the no cap game.
Where is it? Where did he post it?
Scored 0 point. See this, bro?
Did he post it on Twitter? Where did
Yeah,
he
let's
post
see
it?
it.
Where is it?
I want no cap to go to a team where he can be with a good coach and a good team and prosper. I feel like him
Where do you see
going
the
too high
screenshot,
could have him out of the league.
Harris,
Spam tweeted
Oh,
it.
he just tweeted it right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I,
0 for 6.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Like, yeah, Spam's right. Like, bad series happen. Like, again, like he's shown a lot of great flashes this year, which is why I think he deserves to get drafted. Those are the kind of guys, right? That like if they get drafted by the bad team, they're out of the league. Like that happens all the time. Like, that's happened multiple times before. Like, I truly believe that like that there are just guys in the league that get drafted by the wrong team. If he gets drafted by the wrong team, I don't think he'd survive. If he goes to the right team, I think he'll be around for a long time. But just,
Yeah, Harris, do you have me the screen? Oh wait, I got it.
Derek Williams happens, Marvin Bagley happens. Like, sometimes you just get drafted by the wrong team. And I hope that doesn't happen.
That's part of it.
It's just
Like, yeah, like Kelly's right. Like, situations matter. Like, it's just
100%.
and he's being hyped up a lot, like a lot. And sometimes these GMs can take like really wild swings and put a lot of expectations on a guy that just isn't ready for it. And I don't know him well enough to say that he is or he isn't. Just, I want to see everybody succeed in the best situation possible, and I don't want a talent like his to go to some bullshit and end up on a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
But like, see, it's not even fair to show this on stream because he has so many other games that were great. Like, him and Witness on like those gritty Sailor teams were fucking sick. Mm-hmm. he made it all the way to the finals, like multiple finals. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the team he was on, and I don't want to give him too many excuses, but like I'm gonna give the benefit of that. Like you look at that roster, like I don't think that was a serious team. Like
I mean, come on, obviously
dude, I heard some rumors about Potts and JBM that like. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think Kev said.
Anyone that knows,
I was talking about the gritty sailors. Yeah, I don't think they took it seriously.
It's definitely not serious.
Yeah, Spam says no one says when Cap scores 30. Like he plays, he's a good player, and I feel like good players like him deserve to go to good situations and not get overdrafted just for the sake of hype. Like when JBM and Keena come out and say, "Hey, this guy's really fucking good," like that's good. We should take notice, but that doesn't mean they should instantly be the 5th pick and be given all these expectations that like.
Yeah. I just think
they don't need right now.
I think that it's better for No Cap's future in the league, not just current. It's better for him to go later because if he goes high and he doesn't perform, I don't want to see a one and done for him. I don't want to see him get drafted high and he doesn't
think about like I'm not blaming the Hornets for this. Like think about like Expose or something, right? Like he had insane talent coming in, and they pair him with Snubby, and he has to split handling the ball, and like he never really got into a good rhythm. Maybe it's just revisionist history. I don't know. But there's just guards that go to the wrong spots and they end up suffering for it. Like the Celtics last year with Bucket. That was a horrible fit. We were stunned when they made that pick, champ. Like remember all the guys were like, wow, I can't believe they went with him over like C's. It was a crazy pick. But Bucket could have gone to like a totally different team and been so much better. But him and F team just didn't vibe. Like it sucks.
But the thing is, that's what we kind of have for like. All right, I'm gonna use Ohio as an example. Obviously, we saw we finally got to see Ohio on a different team, and it didn't work out again. But like that's kind of what the thought was with Ohio, right? Like he didn't perform well with that team. Whatever they said it was a system, whatever. Then he got he got that second chance, but not everyone gets that second chance. It's rare. Like you saw Glenn. Glenn had gets drafted high, doesn't perform well with the Heat. Gets left out of the league, he's going to probably get drafted this year just because he's kind of built his way back in. But like, I don't want to see that happen in No Cap. I really want to see him.
I don't want it to happen to any guard, man. I want all the guards to be on good teams so that we can have as many good teams as possible. Like, it sucks when you have really good guards on shitty teams. What the fuck fun is that, man? Oh yeah, it's always going to happen, but it's always a shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's part of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Famous.
No, Blood Bunny. We're not saying that anybody's going to the bus. We're just saying that like. The better situation he goes to, the better he's going to be in the league, as goes with everybody. And him going to a situation where it might not fit his skill set best is going to hurt him and the team a lot. So just if you're GM, you have to really consider like what kind of player do I want? Like what kind of skill set do I want and all that stuff? Because if his best skill set is game management, playmaking and, vibes and personality and stuff, then he needs to go to a team that's championship ready. He doesn't need to be going to some bullshit toxic situation with a team that doesn't care. That's going to suck for him, especially.
Mm-hmm. So talking about PG prospects, I have a question about Fana then. So Fana shows up to this tournament with another guy I felt like was on a weird roster. I mean, I don't know if it was just like he was just finding any roster to be on, but like it was just a strange roster for me to see him on. But my question to you is like, where does Fana stand right now? And if he's standing in the undrafted seat, what can he do like at this point to get himself in a better position to be drafted?
Nothing.
It might show up on time.
Yeah, like do good in your interviews. Because like everything else, like everyone knows what Fana is.
Yeah. At this point, it's 2 straight years of him being able to perform at a high level in Pro-Am. He just, dude, it was so funny. He came up to me in the booth in between games. No, so it was after the first night, and he came up to me, and I was like, dude, just like one word of advice. Like, it is all in your hands this year. Don't fuck this up. Like, show up on time for the interviews, blah, blah, blah. And he started to tell me like the reasons and stuff. And I was like, dude, like, I understand. Like, crazy shit happens. That's fine. This year, make sure the crazy shit doesn't happen, and you will get drafted. I promise. And he just kept going on and on and on. I just kept telling him, like, don't just show up, get a good night's sleep beforehand, shower, eat some food, put on a fucking polo, and just talk to somebody for 30 minutes. That's it. Put some time aside. Don't talk to anybody and just do it. Be a professional. And he seemed to accept the challenge. So I'm excited. I'm excited this.
Mm-hmm.
The famous way. He overtalks. And I was telling him, just fucking do it. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Do it.
I agree. But I kind of want to bounce back to like I know you guys have kind of been talking a lot. I've kind of been throwing some names on this list that like while you guys have been talking because I've just kind of they're just names that popped in my head. Like I've created a list of 10 prospects that I think had the best performances. Do say that this is my order of things. Rain I think is number one, Maddie number two, Witness number three, Simo number four, Perm number five, Bag Motion at six, Logic at seven, Buddha at eight, Fakey at nine, and Doll 6 at 10.
Which is top 10 performances.
Yes, like just like I think that like performed very well, just like overall. But maybe,
Surprised that you don't have anyone from Sherm's team.
Well, he's got Rain. He's got Rain.
I mean, I could put.
Where's Dogs?
I was gonna say I could put those.
Hey, hold on. Bro, where the fuck is JaCrispy? All right, where's the double? He was fucking dropping kids out there, man. He was hitting everything from the corners. I know. He's like Dito out there showing that sometimes this game's not that hard. You just gotta.
I'm not saying Sherm, Rigby. I'm saying from Sherm's team, though.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Rigby's just hurt.
He's just hurt. I'm just trying to figure out.
No, I mean, this isn't bad. Like, I don't think this is bad. Like, you could argue one. No, I mean, like, you could argue a couple names, but like,
I know where I'll put him.
I think Hugs definitely hoops.
Hugs was great.
I
did find it so funny. This is why I like Rain also because he's just kind of like this. So Doug's goes on this whole tirade on stage with the microphone in his hand, like, I'm not just vibes, man. I'm a really good player. Like, you guys need to respect me more, blah, blah, blah. And then he gives the mic over to Rain. And I think it was Champ or Jones. He goes, what do you think of your friend Doug's? And he was like, yeah, man, he's great vibes. He's so fun to be around. And I'm like, Rain, no. Talk about how good he is. The poor guy just went off on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think Doug's has shown me that he's going to get drafted now at power forward. Like he's definitely, like before I had question marks around him, but he did perform. He did his thing.
I think the Hornets would love to retake him if he's there. I mean, him and I feel like him and Crown probably squashed whoever went off last year. And if they have a clear role of like Crown at center, Doug's at the 4, I think that's a great combo.
Yeah, I think a lot of these like I feel like it's like his position is like he did well in this tournament. But I don't think it changes where he's going to be drafted in the draft. Like I don't see what he did. Like even Perm, like I think Perm and D-Hogs definitely.
Rigby didn't like that idea.
What?
He said, "Out of here." Talks. No, Rain, I know you did, but you know, man, that was hilarious. Joe, right? Joe's here. Joe, you heard him say that, right? The vibes thing. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
What the hell did he? What the hell? Did Joe get in here?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I've just been here silent, just chilling.
He just got in here.
At the top.
Thank you.
I was trying to play it off, man. Come on, no. But yeah, I was the one who did it. It was fun. But I definitely like Doug's. I think he showed up and did his thing. It's really just gonna be about fit. You kind of hit the nail on the head earlier during BFW Live. It really just depends on the fit of the team. I know people want to talk crap on vibes, but your team chemistry matters.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, after a bad practice, it's a huge difference of wanting to punch somebody in the face and wanting to be like, all right, it's all good. Let's just move on to the next day. Because everything's not always going to be great. So making sure you have people that you vibe with and you have a good chemistry with up and down, good through and bad, is needed. And, again, the position you have to have somebody who can have a stick, who can actually play power forward, be able to move, be able to rotate, be able to hop into whatever defensive rotation or scheme that teams want to go to. So there are levels. I hate people saying that power forward is the most useless, position on the floor anymore because it's not. I think power forwards actually have some of the biggest, influences now because centers can't really play pick and roll in the league because it's too slow.
Yeah. I mean, the power forward position has changed this year. Like, it's going to be the thing is like the teams that prioritize those top power forwards early are definitely going to benefit a lot more than the teams that are going to wait on it. I think that you're going to see a lot of centers who think
that's what people say every year, dude.
But I don't
think so.
You're going to see centers that are going to think they can play the pick and roll that aren't going to do well. I think that's the issue you're going to face this year because there's a lot of egos in this league when it comes to just talent wise and people just accepting that they're not good at something. And I think that certain like centers are like, nah, we don't need that. Like I'm gonna play pick and roll versus like drafting a power forward to do that instead. Just because I
Go ahead. So what you're saying?
no, you go ahead.
No, I think that, and that's, you hit the nail on the head. Ego, that's cool. But then when our team is ass because of your ego,
Oh, it's
that's
on
all
them. Oh yeah, it's on them. 100%.
But any good team with a good coach or a good organization is gonna squash that shit.
I mean, it's just I think also it's tough to kind of tell people like not like I know what you're saying. Like yes, a good coach GM, but like even good coaches and GMs make mistakes, right? So like you're like when a team when these GMs are going into this draft and they're like, hey, are you going to be our pick and roll defender this year? Like, can I trust you? And they're going to trust their player, and then it just doesn't work out. Like they like instead of taking like a putback or something or taking one of those top tier power forwards, we waited because we trusted our center would be that guy. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, Bumpy Don and Miles were drafted in the 3rd round last year.
Yep.
And they were 2 of the most impactful power forwards at the position.
Well, like Miles,
I think power forward depth is a lot. You also have to take into account the centers that can play power forward that have played it in the past. So you have to put them into the position. I think it really just depends on what teams value, because you see Czar was drafted at 10. He was drafted high, but if you go back, I think the Knicks would have loved having Don there. I think the Knicks would have loved having someone like Miles. I think the Knicks would have loved to have someone like Crown. And Czar was probably amazing for the vibes, but for what their fit and what their scheme was as a team, they probably would have fit better. But of course, Czar was the bigger name, and Czar did his thing. He didn't have the same impact that some of these players that were drafted later had. That's really it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But like I said, I mean,
no. Miles is in the chat now. We got to call that man ass. Miles is ass. He's the worst power forward in the league. He can't do anything. Frank said it himself. Like, yo, this man can't shoot. He blind. I don't even know what he did to his hair. He don't even know what he from Detroit, Michigan. We don't even care. No, let me stop.
Seldom, if you want to come to the Discord again.
Not bashing Seldom. I think we're giving just like honest like takes and sit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we're bashing anybody.
Wait. Oh, I missed all that?
No, we weren't necessarily bashing him. We were just like critiquing his game and just critiquing his performance.
I literally said his stock didn't change. How am I a bad person?
You're terrible.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
The worst.
I literally said the teams that were going to draft him could still possibly draft him.
Listen, Harris owes Kai an apology.
You know what? I'm not going to say the Conor McGregor line because that's fucking lame. But like,
what line is that? Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah,
I
would apologize
to absolutely nobody. But I'm not going to say that because, yeah, just know I mean it. I'm kidding.
But
I can't wait for the Shifty Kai versus Sports Team beef all season.
No, fuck that. Great. I don't do beef with people. It's weird. I'm 26. All right, I don't need beef with 20-year-olds. I'm okay. I'm getting married this year, Joe. I'm a little old for this.
Oh yeah, whatever. No.
If you're old, then I just want to put that out there.
Hey, Tox, look, you're my little corporate sellout now. All right.
Hey, okay. I did what listen,
hey, it's okay. You got
right on the wall.
It's okay.
I seen the writing on the wall. I was
look, Tox. At some point, all of us sell out, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You sold out to the right people.
Headshot. I did what I had to do. Some people are still chasing it.
Touche.
See, it's Seldon's right. Interviews matter at the end of the day. Like, look, before the tournament, the most likely teams to probably draft Seldon were like probably the Pacers at the end of the first, the Mavs in the second, or the Hornets or the Nets.
Yeah, Nets. Yeah.
Has that changed?
But see, I also think no. Like I think Seldon,
Dweck did play really good too.
Yeah, Dweck was great.
Dweck did that whole Revenge Tour team played very solid. But like I think when it comes to Seldon, I don't think that he's truly tapped into his true potential. I'm not gonna lie, there were like certain things that he could have been pushed a little bit more in certain in just little tendencies that he has. Of course, they know that he's going to be a little bit past first, trying to make sure he can run off the line with that midi, trying to get more into his arsenal where he can get back to the three, where he gets more comfortable with taking that and being able to drop his. and it seems like the only time Seldom is truly like that is when he's fired up. And if Seldom is able to be able to channel that all the time, that dude's gonna be a fucking demon. Like, he's a demon. Like, that's just my personal opinion with that stuff. Like, I think that, yeah, him passing to Glizzy, like, people give him a lot of shit for that. But you have a great guard. People didn't give Bear shit for that, for passing to, Kai at the time.
Fox, I can't win. Like,
I mean,
I can't win.
it's just funny. Like,
Yeah, you in the chat.
I've been on both sides of this, so this is just funny. This shit is funny. Some people just expect more than what they are. I don't know, bro. Like,
Sheesh.
I don't know. Like, and then when someone doesn't say something about you that like boosts you up, it's like everyone's feathers gets like riled
You know
up.
what? At the end of the day, like, you just gotta show them the film, because if people are like, oh yeah, they feel like this, I'm gonna show you the film. I'll show you where you blown your rotations 3 times in a row, or like, you jumping out of your fucking
Guy Joe got tabs up.
or
You
yeah,
got
bro.
ridiculous.
Joe's a coach now. Coach
That's
Joe's
what
gonna
you
rip your
gotta-
ass up.
Shit,
Right?
I don't give a fuck.
Coming for you.
At the end of the day,
Yo,
you're
this
supposed to
dude-
study these people. The amount of time people press square. If I,
Real
if, I had,
quick, bro.
if I had to take a shot every time somebody
Yo,
pressed square,
bro.
I'd be fucking dead.
Oh
Because,
man,
like,
bro.
I'm just saying, like, but people don't take that into account. They think that everything is just a victim. Nah, motherfucker. You don't think some coaches, the elite
Nah,
people,
you saying
taking
nah
account of
their
that
ass? What are you saying, Joe?
shit? Like, sometimes you gotta say, look, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but I'm talking overall.
Oh man, bro.
Sometimes, like, granted, yeah, there are certain analysts in this community that just say shit just to say shit. Let's be
Hey!
completely real.
Hey, what are you talking about?
Champ did the shoe fits.
Hey,
But, like,
That's shoes
But
fit
I'm
for a
saying-
long time, but yeah.
sheesh.
I will not be included in this conversation.
But, like, at the end of the day, like, people get mad when it's the data. Like, when you show somebody their their actual statistics, or you show them their usage rates, there's certain advanced analytics that other sports track, but they don't believe it. And then when you show them the
Joe,
film,
people
they don't wanna
players
believe
just get mad at me when I tell them what their shooting numbers are, as if I was the one who did it. It's
it. Like,
really
bro,
funny.
like, yeah, I'm
how
not.
dare you read my shooting stats?
How dare you tell me what I shot this year?
I'm not the one on the court pressing square for you. I'm not the one getting drafted, living this life. Shit.
Like I saw in the chat, like some people were typing about like the Champ has the graphic up about like the top 10 performances, and some people were saying like, damn, I should be way higher on that list. But it's like you're in a top 10 performance list out of
Oh
how
my
many people were at the
200
tournament?
people.
200 plus, yeah.
Like-
Fucker, yeah.
Then why
getting
you like? What
recognition.
you mean? Like, who cares if you're 10th on that list or 5th on that list? Like you're on Champ's top 10 list for whatever the fuck that matters. I'm just saying, like at least you're on it. Like, I don't know. I listen, bro. Nah, never mind. I'm not gonna do Champ like that. Never mind.
No, go ahead, do it.
No, I was gonna say, like, some of y'all get so caught up in these like lists and these like streams. Like, bro, listen, this shit doesn't
Bullshit.
matter, bro. Like,
fun.
List, bro.
I've been a player. I've been unretained. I've been retained. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like,
Most people need to realize that if a coach seriously wants our opinion on something, and coaches have gone to me like and asked for opinions, they will call me or they will text me. They're not going to take what I'm going to say on stream as like gospel. That doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
This is what I'll say about my list. I get a lot of DMs.
Winning
from-
bias is a thing. No matter what, winning bias is
Yeah,
a thing.
but, like-
people can win and they can pretty much be carried by their friends.
to be honest, like, I'll say this,
and they
like,
can be ass.
like, okay, I didn't take a coaching position this year. I will say I had offers. I will say that, right? So, like, if I'm a coach, right, and I'm sitting here and I'm in this stream and I'm lurking, like, I'm sure there is some coaches in here lurking.
They're all in here, all of them.
I'm more concerned at like how some of y'all act because you're not on a list or because of where you are on a list than saying anything at all. Like,
Listen,
I don't know.
if there's
That's
one thing,
just me.
if there's one thing I know, Tox, if there's one thing I know, it's that Cody Parent is lurking around here
I mean,
somewhere.
nah, Cody's
always.
Cody's got
The
an
number one,
Excel
the
sheet
number
up
one
next to him.
lurker in the 2K, the number one lurker in the 2K league. It's phenomenal.
I don't know.
But I
just
know he's
think, like,
there.
you know, like it's like
DT.
it's like almost the same saying as like if I was in Vegas and I was a coach, like I would be looking at how some of y'all acted after losses more than anything.
Like I completely, for example, called out I called out Benzo because this motherfucker is literally packing up his shit before the game's even over.
Oh yeah, I got.
And like, I talked to him about it.
And there's Cody. See, I got him. It's like finding the flower that's like the flounder that's like asleep at the bottom of the lake. It doesn't want to be disturbed. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's why Cody's the best, man. He's always scouting. He's always around.
All those 2K Lab guys, they're always like they're out
elite.
there, bro.
It's elite stuff, dude. I spent 4 months.
I know one thing. Like Champ's done this for years, right? Like Champ always loves to hate on the unretained.
Champ hates unretained players.
Always
Champ's
hates
like
on
offended by them.
bro. Like I don't know. Like, you've always been like that, and I don't know why. Like you think like new talent, like fresh meat, is like it's always gonna be better or something like that. And again, like it goes back to like just fit, right? Like I don't mean to be biased out towards him, like, but like DT, someone I team with, like I think he's gonna be a great pick for a team if he gets to the right fit,
bro.
Right? Like I think if DT ends up on like something like that, that's a great fit.
I'll say this. I'll say this. There needs to be a balance between new and old talent because.
Why though? Like good is good. Like I don't know. Like, why does that matter?
I'm with Toxsik.
My issue is if you're a bottom franchise, you gotta have to take a different step somewhere else. Like you can't be
draft better.
Yeah, they're just not bringing in the same exact players.
It don't matter if you're drafting unretained or new prospects.
I'm not saying don't take an unretained player who's good. Like DT should be taken high, but like. If there's a talent that like the newer talent is always more appealing to me. Like I've always been.
Why though?
Because I pretty much know the ceiling for a lot of these players in the league. I've seen it over the years. Like there's certain players.
But does that go back to what you were just saying an hour or two ago about like a fit? Like so you might see a player who goes unretained, but he was in a bad fit.
Which happens all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Like look at Spartan.
That's fair.
Spartan.
So Spartan it's like I don't know.
He was unretained. He wound up getting drafted high because he was balling, and now he's a retained player.
But he played. I mean, he played good in Memphis. He played good in Dallas though too.
But still, he didn't get retained.
Yeah, but that was just like upper management decision. You know what I mean? Like he still played good.
Well, this is kind of like one of the funny things. I actually learned this from Jim from watching like the old 2K Zone streams. It's like. It's all about like it really is like
he went from the guy who like couldn't get a stop for the Sixers and they couldn't win the championship because he couldn't get a stop.
Situation means everything.
The best fucking power forward in the league because of situation. Like
it's fair. No, I think it's definitely fair. It's just that, like I like to see new talent. I like to see new potential.
Yeah, selfishly you do.
I think that's the difference for us though with Mox Champ is that the way that we look at like what the best situation is for like a specific player or team is so much different than like what that team interprets their best situation to be. And I feel like that's where like our mocks and stuff can go wrong because every single team is so individualistic about what they think that, right answer is. So like, yeah, like we might think that no cap is like a great answer for the Pacers. But Cody might be sitting over there like, fuck that. I don't want that kind of guy next to 630. Like we don't know what he's interested in truly.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta trust the system, man.
There's always much more going on with teams than you actually think there is. Like I know, Champ, you get your little intel or whatever,
half-ass intel.
But I can tell you from being on four teams in 4 years, like there's always more going on than what you're hearing.
Y'all don't know the skilled players that are weirdos either. As a weirdo myself, DT or Demon JT, I can sniff some of them out.
There is some not
all of them. Some of them I can.
I won't say names, but some.
Some of them are a little funky behind the scenes. I'm sure.
It's the truth, and then
but that's any group of people, right?
Those are the same ones who don't get retained.
No, they do get retained though.
I'm saying when they eventually don't get retained, they think that the hubris of their past or whatever it is because they're just skilled is going to get them back in the league. When no, if it was just skill, you'd still be in the league. Obviously, it's something else, and people have to have the self-awareness to understand that. Wow, maybe I'm a shit person. Maybe I need to work on certain things. Maybe I need to work on being a better human, caring for other people. Like, just understanding situational, just situational stuff. Like, okay, I don't always have to win
running an ad soon, FYI. So if someone subs up soon, I won't run one.
The little things
will be running an ad
matter,
soon.
and people don't realize that because they think, okay, I'm good at the game. That's all that matters.
Len.
one person we haven't brought up a lot. Like I was asking you guys about BP. Like you think he's just getting like pushed under the rug in this draft?
Or I will not take him out of my top 5 point guards. I feel like
he's still a super talented player. Like
I feel like he gets it this year. I don't know. It's like you know if you're the team that takes the swing on him and you hit on it right. I mean, it could. Who knows how far it could take you, especially with 3v3 in the league now. Obviously, if you take a swing on him and you miss with no 6-man,
3v3 guard.
It is the ultimate boom or bust pick. But at the same time, I mean, the boom is maybe winning a banner or two if he's at the top of his game. Which I mean, I've watched him a lot this year. He seems pretty sick. He might need a better 2 guard than he used to, but like that doesn't every point guard at this point.
Yeah.
So it's not much different from a lot of the point guards in the league. He still probably has better handles.
Top 3v3 guard in the draft. No, him, like, Greens, Fana.
For sure, like he's going to get you in the money for every 3v3 tournament for sure. At least on the probably on the Eastern Conference side.
But
I mean, he's
good.
Like,
but again,
know.
You have to think about like.
Let's not act like Atlanta was like the perfect place either. You know,
it was just a storm of shit for everyone.
Bro, right. You think about the past 2 years. Follow went on to have an amazing success. You see Fakey's success this pre-draft and going on to a different spot. Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
There was more than just player personality issues.
Well, we need to talk about how Kelmav was on the Grizzlies season 2. Yeah, fell off the face of the earth after putting up maybe one of the greatest lineups in the history of 2K, the season 2 Grizz after they acquired Kel, going one of the greatest runs of all time, almost making the playoffs. The rare great trade for both sides, Tox for Kelmav, legendary trade.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward when I got traded there. They brought me to the apartment in Orlando, and Kelmav was sitting on the couch.
That's awkward as fuck.
I was like, "What's up, brother?" It worked out though, right? It worked out for both of us, honestly.
Oh yeah, you got retained and got to play with like a bunch of really cool people.
Like with Memphis, like it wasn't the right fit for me. Like it just wasn't. Like I just kept it real and was honest. And Lang's just a good dude. And Lang actually asked me like where you want to go, and he actually sent me to one of the places that I mentioned. So like it worked out.
And that's the thing. Like, and then if you bring BP around the right people, where he's not just going to be antagonized and have to deal with that, where he might lash out, it's going to be a better situation. Also, BP having the growth and the emotional intelligence and just learning how to control it, and that comes with age, and he's getting there. So he knows that, okay, pick and choose the battles. That's all part of it. It's all about having a system, having a coach who's going to be willing to work with him, and that he respects. That he's going to be, all right, this is what it is. If you don't respect the coach of the organization, you don't respect the players, you're not going to give a fuck. So I get where he's coming from, but also you can't, like, his talent, his skill, it's too good to squander, and he just has to realize that.
What is this?
Oh fuck!
I know who he's talking about. I know who he's talking about.
All right, Tox, don't.
I know who he's talking about.
All right, first of all, what season is it? Let me try to.
Season 1.
Season 1. Okay.
When I was drafted to Cleveland, he told me who this was. I know who it was.
Okay. All right, so season 1, I don't know as well, so this is going to be kind of hard.
You guys all know this person like very well.
Can I try to give?
Steve said it.
Oh, Steve said it. Oh, damn! I was going to try to give you like Vegas odds for who I thought it was. Blue Painter was going to be very high on the list.
Nah, it was Timely Cook.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was Timely Cook.
Future DPOI, crazy.
Yeah, it was Cook. But it's because I think it was because Cook didn't want to go to Cleveland. From what I know, because I think he's from there, if I'm not wrong, or from Ohio or something. Yeah, it was definitely Cook.
Christ.
Yo,
that's funny. Honestly, I'm so not surprised that I think I'm the opposite. I think I'm impressed.
Yeah, it was Cookster.
Yo, that's some Antonio Brown smart shit.
Yeah, dude. At some point, you just know yourself, and you just say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna be me."
That's him declining an interview, but accepting it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, dude, shit. He fucking. I mean, hey, it worked out for him in the end, didn't it? Shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, wasn't season 1 Kings wasn't
highway driving, eating pizza? I mean, that's just
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's up there.
Lakers confirmed. No, let me stop.
Definitely the Warriors. Josiah Cohen, we caught you red-handed. Got him. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Who said Seldom and No Cap are the same player? That's what
That's
Johnny
not.
said.
It's not what we said. We said they have similar traits, but by no means did we say same player.
It's funny how like
No way.
dudes like they go
No
on
way.
Twitter and they come in here and like almost leave like a press comment, like
Because they
like,
put what we say in group. Do you know what? It's like a game of
Yeah,
telephone.
what?
It's a game of telephone. They interpret it as copy. No, it's a game. It's a game of telephone where they just the message gets slowly disseminated down the line, and they come back and they're like, "What? No,
listen, in 30 days, none of this is gonna matter anyway. So
it's just
You know
it's
what?
just
And if they want to watch it back, guess what? They're gonna have to pay the sub.
Well, the bait up.
I can watch the stream.
or no, or like the fucking tweet when Champ puts it out there to put it on YouTube, huh? Is that so hard? If you really want it, just drop it a like. I'm kidding.
Likes are free.
Seldom and No Cap have similar traits because they're both kind of playmaking first point guards,
Pass
and
bars-
similar teams are probably going to be interested in them. However, you know, there's still a lot of very different things about them too.
Yeah, of course. No Cap is a little bit more reserved, while Seldom is going
Seldom
to
is
boast. Like,
Crazy aggressive.
but also he
I don't
knows what
watch
he's doing. when
either
it
of them
comes
enough to.
shit
you're
talking.
fine.
Like, he does it on purpose, and like it because you have to be fair.
I will
like,
say I have a
hard to
player
be about
that
it.
I have a player that's a league player that said they think No Cap is like a mini Kina,
Oh yeah,
which I thought was high
that's
praise. But
That's what everybody says, but I think
Kino
he
said
has
that
to know
himself.
He has to work on it.
yeah, well, I mean that's his boy, you know.
Yeah, of course. That's
I haven't watched him enough to like give an actual like.
In this league, if you're good enough and you have the right friends, you can get picked higher in the draft. That's just a fact. It's not necessarily a bad thing because sometimes it can lead to really good picks. Like
Of course, Rigby.
you know the way that Charlie and Grady made like this shit work out. And if No Cap goes to the right team, he could be a really good player. But you know, we'll see.
Does Goofy get drafted? How does he not get drafted, Dane?
Where do you think he goes, Tox?
That's the question.
I
Where do you
mean,
think
I
he
don't know.
goes?
Like I could see him on like a Miami. Like I could see him on.
Are you sure?
No, of course.
Exactly. You think about.
Are you sure?
No, because you think about the
I'm
personality.
just saying,
Hot Shot just came from Miami. You know,
like this
James
whole like
dealt with him a
like why does everyone think like Goof like has a bad
No, it's the
personality?
competitive.
Hey,
It's the
Tox,
competitiveness
welcome
that's
to the
sometimes
real
good.
league. All right, this is the
That's
real
what, like,
league
that's
now.
someone I'm close to in the league too. Like
You thought it was competitive
what bad
before.
personality does he have though? Like how is he like toxic to a team? I don't get like I don't know. Maybe that's just me, right? But like I don't see it. If that's the case, all right. Well then, fuck. I could name you a shitload. Hold, like, let me get you a list. Fuck, DT, Sick was one of them on my team. Hood was one of them on my team.
And you
shit,
notice there's
Dre
a
was one of
similarity
them on
with
my
all of them?
team. Like, I could name you a bunch of people, but it's like that's part of dudes giving a fuck about what they're doing too.
You're right about that.
And like, if people find that as like, you know, like, oh, that's a bad teammate or something like that, like, I don't know, like. Maybe it's just me. Like I want to play with people who I know care and like, you know,
But-
obviously to like a certain extent, right? Like
The
I get
reason-
it.
No, I get that, but the reason I say that, like, if there was
Limited
if it was a
spots,
class
I get
where
it,
there were
Dane,
more, if there were more spots, Goofy would be a lock. But
I
the
mean, how
fact
many
that
center
it's
spots are there? 3?
3, and that's
I
barely.
think he gets
'cause
taken, bro.
how do you
I
know if
personally
there's?
do.
How do you know if there's a power forward that's not just going to move the center? Like I'm saying that because of the small spots, it becomes a 50-50.
I think Rain is the clear number 1. Outside of that, I think
You don't think
I-
he's been taken?
I didn't. I don't. But I can't sit here and say like fake. He's 100% better than Goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
fair.
he's good. I think Fakey's good. Absolutely. I think Fakey deserves to get drafted. Yeah, I do personally. But I can't sit here and be like, oh, he's 100% better than Goofy.
We also don't know which centers are going to get taken
You know
as
what I'm
power
saying?
forwards. Do we know if Goofy
Exactly.
doesn't want to play the 4? Has anyone
I
asked?
think That's a good question. From what I've heard, he doesn't want to play the 4. He just wants to play center.
I have not asked. So
They say people say that until their league life is on the line. Like so.
See,
that's what's gonna happen.
Now I would
dude.
just be surprised if Goofy didn't get picked this year. Personally,
and this is fine. See, all the players in the chat aren't worried, and that's okay. It's not your job to be worried. It's our job to be worried. Okay, so we'll worry, and when it happens on draft night, we'll be the one on screen with our mouth wide open because we hoped that this wouldn't happen, but we were worried that it might. That's kind of where we're at.
This, like, yo, Goofy.
Like, I'm worried it won't
I
happen.
got into Pro-Am. Like,
yeah, dude, he was
like he's my favorite fucking player. And to see it like happen like this is why I'm saying, yo, you have to take this shit right. You have to be serious with this shit, and people don't look at it.
It's like
the league without Goofy is a little bit odd.
It wouldn't have been crazy like if he got retained last year. Like no, like you know what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't have been like, oh shit, he got retained, right?
No, it was just like,
I would have been. So like, I was expecting him to get retained and traded. That's kind of what I was waiting for.
I mean, I think a lot of people were for sure, but
when it didn't happen, I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." And then you start just kind of slowly looking at the draft, and you're like, "All right, well, the teams that need a center, like, okay, well, it's the Magic, it's the Heat,
let's be fair."
I don't know, maybe Gen G. I don't know. Not a lot of teams.
You don't think that the Mavs are trying to trade Jerry? They've probably been trying to trade his ass, but nobody wants him.
I don't think like that don't make sense to me though. I mean, no one wants him, or there's just not a like. I don't know. Like, I mean, that's wild to me. Like, he's been successful on every team he's ever been on, besides the Mavs last year.
Mike's muted. Oh no, they have been trying to move him. Like they haven't. Like it's a fact. Like they have been trying to move him. It's just.
I mean, I also heard the Mavs.
Jesus.
I also heard the Mavs wanted to trade for Dayfry and that or something like that. Mavs wanted to be able to get Dayfry and have the number one pick still. So like, I mean,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's like, you know,
the Zaybucks trade didn't fall.
No, I mean, I heard about that too. I just think like.
Is he okay, by the way? I'm kind of sad we haven't heard.
If Jerry's in this draft, does Jerry get drafted?
Yeah.
I think 100%. Like, but that's
yes.
I'm
probably
from a player perspective. So like,
how about this though? Here's the question. I think it's different from a GM's point of view, right? Damn, would you rather? It's gonna sound so weird, but would you rather draft him like out of a player pool, or are you spending an asset to like trade for him?
Look like
it's right now. Yeah, that all just depends on what situation.
It's weird. Like that's kind of what it is. Like it's weird to think about it that way, but like.
It's the
from a talent perspective, yeah, but it's also difficult to like give up an asset for him where there's like other needs on your team.
Because you just traded that. You just traded,
That's why I say though, like, it's like when we say like teams don't want him, like I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just think there isn't a good fit. Like
think about it right now.
Like, would he replace Goofy? Like, would you, if you're the Blazers, would you trade the 13th pick in the draft to the Mavs for Sick?
Yeah.
A team in your conference, you'd give them a fresh first-round pick. They already have number 1, now you're going to give them number 13, and then they have 2 high second-round picks? I don't think Cameron's going to do that. That kid's cracked.
I don't look at it too much like that, though.
That's how the GMs do. They overthink all this stuff.
Bro, like, this draft isn't like crazy, like to me. Where it's like there's a bunch of talent that's gonna like I don't know, like I think like win that, like I don't know personally, like
I just want to play a video for the stream.
I absolutely would trade that pick for Jerry, and then you have Bash, randoms, Brett, and Jerry.
Are you sure those personalities would like?
Okay, but I'm not going that in depth with it. Like obviously,
that's what
like
you have to think though. Like,
I'm talking straight off talent right now, skill. Like you're asking me would I trade the 13th pick for that caliber of a player? Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Now putting everything else into consideration, like I'd have to think about it, right? Like personality and all that shit. Sure, like but you could have said the same shit about that with the Blazers team they put together last year.
And we did though. We said the same exact thing. We said it was a powder keg about to explode. We said when it's going good, it's gonna go good. Like when they were winning the turn, they were the best of friends.
That's got to do more with that has more to do with Goofy or like more than just Goofy. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
It's that whole team in general, like
exactly. But you have to bring in people who the personalities will mesh.
You got to bring in a yes man, is what you got to bring in.
Yo, hey guys, I just want to play this video real quick. So,
we've seen this champ. Go ahead, brother.
What is this?
This is a champ dancing.
This is the content house. Hang on.
Yeah, we've seen this, brother.
I don't think I've seen this. What?
Live on stream.
This is on stream?
What night was this?
It's in the content house. Yeah.
Bro, I didn't even know that.
Oh, DT, you're a captain right now. Dude. Whatever you're saying. Talking about how'd you win games with me? I helped you just as much as you helped me, bitch.
Oh well. See, do you know? Wait, what night was this, champ?
This was the Saturday night. The man asked you to come out.
Oh. Yeah, no, I went up to my room and then I hung out with Joe for a while and then went to bed.
I mean, you see what you missed out on.
I'm terrified.
Why? What's wrong?
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
It was just
messing
like a
around.
pre-mixer before everybody started going out.
No,
I mean, this looks like my high school homecoming.
Bro, everybody, Nick's having a blast.
Achilles, yes sir, Achilles.
Buenos.
Yeah.
I'm lame, man. That's all.
Kept exposing us, damn.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think, I played with Jerry, so it's a little biased, sure, but I just think if you look at this track record, right, he won everywhere he's been, besides Dallas last year, and they didn't. That's the team he was on. That
Has anybody talked to Zay? Has anybody talked to Zay? Is he okay? Is he upset with what happened? I used to talk with him a little bit. We used to chat about NFTs and stuff. Yeah, he's a good dude. I hope he's okay. I'm sure this affected him in some way. It does suck. He was playing for his hometown team. He was making a shit ton of money. Now it's got all blew up in his face. No, it was okay.
It's you're just kind of fuck, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Guys,
look at D Double. He seemed alright.
If you guys want to ask one sub,
dude, that was the funniest voice I think I've ever heard. That was great.
Bro, there is just some interesting content I've captured this weekend, to say the least, about everybody. I got Jack doing jumping jacks in the middle of a game. Jack is doing jumping jacks while he's playing my team. I was like, what the fuck?
You think let's just be honest, right? Every year there's people who get left out that are quote unquote snubbed. Who do you think is in that this year?
Yeah, we had 9 replacement players last year, so a lot of these guys can still get in. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely gonna happen.
What unretained players? I think that's the ones, you know what I mean? That we should be concerned with.
I mean, isn't Screddy unretained?
Oh, that's pretty good. What about A-Rooks?
Is Screddy getting picked?
I feel like Screddy is going to the Kings.
I mentioned that before. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Go play with
A-Rooks,
with the Buds.
The only thing with A-Rooks, with Aaron, is
does he?
I just don't know how much he plays the game.
I would say, does he want to be back in the league?
I don't think he does.
Serious question.
I can't say he doesn't want to. I think if he didn't want to, he would have made it official, right?
That's fair.
I think it's more of all right, if I get picked, I get picked. If
I think that's just his personality. He's always kind of been more laid back about it. And however shit plays out, it plays out.
Yeah,
it's kind of how he is. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's in, I think there's definitely gonna be people that we have it every year, right? Every year there's someone that's oh, I should have got in, but didn't get in. So
yeah,
there's so many.
I wonder who that's gonna be.
I just wish that the first time a guy didn't make when unretained players go undrafted, right? A lot of them just give up on the league and just never reappear. Why is that the end all be all for a lot of people? What
do you mean though?
Why do people move on from
life? I mean,
the league takes a fucking toll.
Pay bills, family, you gotta
I gotta work, bro.
No, that's fine. I understand.
Champ, even I have a new job that I'm gonna be announcing soon. People doing other shit.
That's fine, but
I mean, I'll be honest too. For me personally, right? The only reason I retired as a player, it wasn't because I didn't think I could play still. I think if I played the game every day, I'd be fine.
You'd be fine. Yeah, you could play luck in this league right now.
I knew I had more opportunity outside of it, so I went with it. Right? Listen, especially guys who've been in the league since season 1, and I guess you can count season 2 now. It's taking a toll on a lot of our mental, a lot. You know what I mean? So it's
it's hard.
I won't name names, but there's some of the biggest names that you guys can think of in the league that I've talked to that are they thought about being done.
Oh no, I think we're in the next 2 to 3 years we're gonna see a pretty huge exodus of the final our last original tier players, and we're officially gonna be just recycling talent. it's inevitable in some ways. Like it's a 6-month on and off job. In the not 6 months, you have to find a 6-month job to replace the money that you would have made from this if it was a full year time career. It's like a weird way to make money. It's kind of a weird way to like operate with friends and family too. Because think about it, champ, like you can only plan vacations, time off, dates, life around this like weird 6-month league. And Tox, you can only visit your family like once a season, right? Like during the bye week. Home. Well, that's like it's crazy. It's like
just like I'm not gonna fly all the
way
like
home. Crazy. It's like crazy video game summer camp, but it's 6 months long.
If you go unretained, it ain't no off season.
Yeah. You got
to play in WR every other league. If not, it's like, oh well, you're not playing. Oh yeah, you don't care. Like, no, it's just I've been playing fucking 2K for 7 days a week for 6 months straight. You know what I mean? And like, I want to take a break.
6 years for you.
And if the game sucks, it's like, okay, like you're just drilling that shit is. It can be a lot.
No, that's why when your ass talks about 12 hours of fucking content, champ, I want to kick your ass because there has to be a balance, bro.
Well, I can barely focus.
Then you say content, yo, champ.
Oh, I can barely focus on this shit for more than 3 hours.
Side with you, champ, but God, like, I'll tell you right now, when I was in Philly, I had no life. And I wasn't even starting. That was the first year I never started. I had no life.
This is what I have to say about the content. Like, I think that it is the org's responsibility to try to take some of the pressure off you when it comes to content, like helping you with certain things. Like, there needs to be certain tools in place for you guys to like be more successful in content. But
who's supposed to help you?
The league.
Here's when they're trying to build their own content.
It's not the league's responsibility.
The league don't even have their own successful content yet. How can they build the players' content?
But like, and the players' responsibility.
I'll be honest, though, it ain't even your organization's responsibility because every team I've been on, they looked at me for the content.
Well, because you're the quote unquote content guy.
But I hear you. But like, when I'm going somewhere to be a player, though, you know what I'm saying? My focus is being a player.
And it's kind of also, champs, like what's the first priority? Is it to win? Because if the first priority is to win, that means that the other stuff you kind of have to constantly be sacrificing.
But can I ask? But when
there's only so many hours in the day if you're like really locked in on winning. Like I don't want to make a comparison to the Patriots, but like look at their entire organizational structure. They don't waste resources. Like they don't have like a massive content team. They have like 2 social people and like a couple like video cameras, and that's the whole content team. Like, and that's at like the highest of high end, like the second most valuable sports team in the world. Like, some teams just, they don't have time for it.
I mean, listen, I was one person this past weekend at UPA. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who helped out in UPA, but like the amount of things that I was able to produce and make this past weekend.
Come on, champ! But you weren't even. You also weren't playing. Time.
Yes, yeah. Because I had to go on stage. The fact that I
was Joe was like, I was
for Joe. I have 500. Do you know how many hours of content I have? No. I have 10 hours of content.
Fucker, you left us halfway through for a fucking mock draft.
Yes, because that mattered, Joe. That did matter. Okay, that matters to the community. That is important. Okay, because what a mock draft.
We just had 20 hours. We had 20 fucking hours in 2K. We went through a whole fucking thing, and you wanted to do a mock draft right after.
I don't want to hear because Joe, what did you do the first day? You decided to go coach your team instead of being
my parent. Mom, Dad, can you stop fighting?
You can't say that though, because like I had Joe specifically do stuff for us. Like,
no.
Bro, I was doing shit for Eyeball. I was coaching. Joe, I was managing an entire fucking team. I was doing whole stuff. Still recording content.
Joe, go look at the file. How much stuff I uploaded in there for you? Go look at it, please.
I'm so confused what you guys are even arguing about.
Just because you did a lot of content, don't make it good content.
Oh well, most of the stuff that.
Champ, hold on, wait, champ, hold on. I mean, I'm just reel in it. What are you trying to argue here, buddy?
What I'm trying to argue is the fact that if I was able to multitask with being on stage, do content, still be able to basically fix up another PC to do a mock draft, and do all the crap I did, there's no excuse.
And champ, and
were you
just hold on, just that's the part. But okay, but champ, so you do that for a weekend?
Yes, and I could do that.
The season's 5 months long.
Yeah, and I work. Okay, the amount of content I produce.
It's 5 months long. The season is for a player. It's every single day for 5 months. everything is just the league, except for like 1 week
And you
off
have
for
no
July
pressure
4th.
of like having to perform well.
No,
Or,
No. It's
just
like being a pro athlete, dude.
I'm asking
It's
how
not
hard
comparable.
how hard is it to release 2 or 3 videos a week talking about tutorial on how to do this, how to do that? Because Barry makes it. I mean, maybe Barry just makes it look easy, but I'm just saying, how hard is it?
act like Barry don't have a whole team behind him though either, bro.
Yeah. Barry's main focus right now.
Listen, Barry, he's a good personality, but Joe helps him a lot. Like people help him a lot, like formulate that content as well, bro, and put together. Not everyone has that.
Yeah, JB, you had the entire
You help him,
staff.
champ, for Christ's sake. If I had somebody like you on my team, I'd be fucking 200,000 million people on TikTok or some shit. Like, you know, everybody gets their motivation from
Bro,
someone.
and then you expect somebody after getting fucking smacked in scrims and like dealing with fucking arguments, dealing with all the shit to just sit there and be like, oh boy, I want to
it's a lot.
You're
It's
tired. You're mentally drained.
My thing is more guys would do.
Sam, your content though is also a little bit easier because, like, for example, like what you're doing right now, like you're.
Can you guys still hear? Can you guys still talk?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait, say that
can you guys hear
again.
me?
Yeah, you just cut out for me for a second.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
I'm saying like your content is like what you're doing right now is content that's already formulated around content. Like if that makes sense. Like
makes sense.
Like for me,
It's
or
analysis,
else, like,
right?
We gotta go be a player and scrim. Like sometimes we had 3 scrim blocks a day. Like that shit is ass. And then you gotta go home and load up and play retail and stream retail. That shit, bro. What? You're gonna go insane. You have no time to like I know a lot of my teammates like to go to the gym or like to just relax and hang out with friends or like whatever. Like then you got to go and you know what I mean. Like it's not as easy.
Let me
as
just
you
ask
think,
you this
bro.
question though.
There are ways to find like fun ways to
There's
do
a
content like
there's a
around
balance.
practice, but
There's a
I mean,
balance.
shit.
Like you're,
But it's not the crazy ass numbers that you're.
It's not as
expecting.
easy though as
but
you saying like
but
make a tutorial
okay,
video. Like
okay, but I always obviously overstate things for the purpose because I know they're never going to reach that level. So at least meet me halfway. I know they're not. I'd rather set the ceiling high than low because because the thing is if you give the lowest expectation, people are only going to go to that. I want people to go to the top because at least there's a higher goal to reach than like I'm here, I'm comfortable. I don't want.
So the higher expectation is for a player to like spend so you've 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Tox, how much do you spend scrimming average day?
like depending on the team, like we're usually like with the Sixers, it was like I think our earliest scrim was like 11 a.m. and we'd be back at the house by like 5, sometimes 6 o'clock.
Okay, so champ, you woke up at, let's say you woke up at 9 o'clock. Go to the gym. You're there from 9:30 to 10:30, just to get a basic gym session in, right? You go to the gym, I go to the gym. People like going to the gym. All right, so now I get ready for the day. I have to be wherever I'm at 11. I scrim until 5. I'm exhausted. I went to the gym, plus I just scrimmed for an entire day. Now what?
Not to mention if you have to do any like I don't remember the exact days, but I had to do like a 76ers GC stream for them like 3 days a week after practice.
It opened my eyes this year, like while I was like being a like full-time broadcast out. Like even for me, that shit was hard, man. Like I didn't miss a single broadcast day all year. Like I had to do full days of prep work every single day. Like it's not being a player, but it was still very strenuous. And I got to the end of the season, I was like stunned how I was exhausted, dude. I had to take the entire month of September off. I got off Twitter for an entire week. I was dead.
I'm sorry, Joe. It's funny.
Hey,
that was hitting the point though. Like
Joe, I got
fucking have a life too. Like
I got fucking engaged in December. The league is during the summer. It's beautiful in Hoboken during the summer. I can't fucking go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Here?
Yeah, I live in Hoboken,
but it's
beautiful. It's crazy expensive, but it's beautiful here. That's why it's so expensive. So like my fiance and I, like we lost our entire first summer together after being engaged, and I did it for my work, and I love my work, and that's the sacrifice we had to make. But like everybody has to make sacrifices. Sometimes you just can't fit everything in.
Yeah, and like, even this past season, like me working with the T-Wolves, like having a balance, helping create content for the team, but also, helping coach, like with the scouting, getting stuff ready for the team, like doing all that stuff. Like my girlfriend was cool with it, but then at one point she's like, no, you need to make time for me because I am a part of your life. I deserve some time too. And I had to take that step back, like shit, like I need to work better on my work-life balance because right now I'm giving everything to work. I'm not spending time with my family. I'm not spending time with, my girlfriend. I'm not doing shit for myself. I didn't have personal time. You have to work on that time management, and you can't do too much content. So, like, if you have to hire an editor to help expedite that process, go ahead, do your thing. But you can't expect people to go in and do all the stuff because that's way too much time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's like it kind of comes down to a lot of time management, like Joe said, but it's also like collaboration and stuff. Like if you're just throwing random content ideas at players, it's just kind of feels like a chore. Like if I was hypothetically speaking, if I were going to run a team, like what I would do is that I would just say, hey, like we have 6 months. Let's just set aside like a couple hours on a Saturday. You just kind of sit around, brainstorm, come up with a couple random content ideas, shoot some random stuff, and then you're done. And hopefully that stuff can carry you throughout 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, you do it again, and you just try to organize the time so it's not like a chore and it's a little bit more collaborative.
I think players would be more open to doing content if their content channels were making them money. The problem is,
I mean, no fucking duh, champ.
but like.
Think about it though. Like you're saying, like if anyone can make money off it, of course, but like that's not easy.
But no one wants to put the grind in to make the money. That's the problem,
right? Because they have other obligations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you have other obligations of you have to you're a league player, you got to be on a league team, you got to play well, you got to win games. Like it's hard to like you're getting paid for that, right? So like that becomes your main focus, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to like. It depends. I mean, it's also depends on the person's DNA. Like,
so
they got it in them to do
so
it.
This is so to kind of bring this full circle, though, champ. This is why, as like league content creators, like a lot of this ends up falling on us, and this is like what you and I talked about, where it's like a lot of this content at the end of the day has to kind of come from the league, or I mean, fuck it, at this point, you. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like we're all under pressure, and we all have like specific obligations here. It's just like. Not everybody can do everything. And at some point, you just kind of have to find your niche in all of it and execute that the best you can.
Like, the argument I think you do have, champ, is like the retained guys. Like, the off-season is their time to do content. And then build up your page or your channels in the off-season. And then now when you're in the league, like, it's already built up to a point where you can just maintain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what Steez did this off-season was not that hard. I'm serious, man. He did a really simple formula and just did it consistently.
And he's gonna have to maintain it while he's in the league.
But it's just one of those things.
Bear built it now. Like now, it's to the point where Bear can just maintain it throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like
you can't expect guys to grow a channel during it's hard during season. That's hard. Like I was a little different because I came in with a foundation already. Like you can't it's hard to build a foundation and be a player during the season. Like. That's why the off season is probably the most important time for sure. I agree with that 100%. Like,
and like you're right with the Steez shit. Like Steez can literally, even after a hard day's practice, dealing with everything he does, he can just like, hey, I'm putting together a tens lobby and just literally have people run, and he's just chilling on stream, just like we're doing now, talking over it.
Well, I will say though, coaches don't really like you doing that. Just I had coaches they don't like us playing like retail tens during season and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
shit, Walnut can tell you.
Like, shoot, what they want you to play through? I mean, 3v3 at this point.
Like they just don't like because it's at the end of the day it's a different feel from the league, so like they don't want us to have that
Mm-hmm.
That's been told to us.
But like, how are you going to connect with your community if you're not able to play the game that the community?
It's not that you're not able to. Like it was just kind of frowned upon. Like he'll still be able to do it. Yeah, we did league tens. Like they could stream league tens.
Yeah, or even he's just streaming tens of other people playing, and he's just using his platform.
You could do that, yeah. You could do that for sure.
I wish that I hope at one point we do get the league build in the game because then you can run league tens on the 2K game itself, and it's still beneficial to you. Like I think that if that ever gets to fruition, I think
like last year they just allowed us last year to stream league build tens.
I'll be honest. The most likely way that we're going to get integrated into the game is that whatever version of 3v3 we're playing is what gets put into the game as like some sort of ranked mode. I doubt that they would expand the 5v5 into the game at this point. They probably have to like concentrate it down to the more played game mode, which is 3v3. That would make the most. If I was 2K and I was seriously thinking about putting the league in the game, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I would take the 3v3 league build and I would put it as a little attachment to the game. Maybe it replaces
In a perfect
3v3 Pro
world.
Am. I don't know. Yeah, but in a perfect world, well, no, in a perfect world, I'd have 5v5 in there too, and we'd have a fucking tab, and we'd be all over the game, and they promote us like Call of Duty promotes their game, and Halo promotes their esport inside their game. But that won't happen.
I just want it to be like Fortnite, where I can buy little dances, okay, and I can do like the reload dance or something, okay, from the 2K League, okay. I want to do that, okay. I want to take little catchphrases from the 2K League, like "you're baited." Like I want to have someone screaming "you're baited," and it's got to be a voice from the 2K League, and I can buy it.
That sounds like a blast.
But you have to get somebody to the point where they're recognized to that point where, okay, everybody in the community knows you're baited.
Because here's what's the funny part about all this. The second that 2K puts the league in the game from like a 3v3
It's
perspective,
gonna help a lot.
holy shit. I mean, it's like, do you know how many 3v3 players don't know the league exists? Like, you put anything about the 2K league in 3v3 for like a considerable amount of time like playable, oh my god, you might gain 100,000 fans overnight. That's the amount of people that play 2K. There's a lot of, dude, like 8 million people play 2K. A lot of people play this video game, and we barely scratch anywhere close to the total audience that plays the game.
It's not relatable at all. Like
exactly.
The league build, because no one plays it. They see us miss shots and we're asked because we can't green or some shit. Like
a lot of people that play the game don't have Twitter, which is the primary source of like our esport. Is Twitter. Let's be honest. The primary audience is Twitter.
Not, bro. Like no, like our main esport, yeah, but the game. Like, there's so many fucking people.
That's like push it in the game.
There's so many fucking people on Facebook. There's so
like the amount of people who just play like Quick Play and Play Now and like My Career and stuff. Like, there's ways where you can just put like little advertisements for like the 2K League in those places. Like, people might want to watch that stuff that you wouldn't expect just because it's 2K. Like, I know a lot of people that really just like this is the only game they play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like it would be really easy to explode the audience of this game if you just execute on a couple small things.
There's a reason why it's a top selling game. It's not like the amount of games like this game was like the number one.
So many people play this fucking game across multiple consoles. It's crazy how many people play this game. And if you think about like the total audience of 2K, and I understand that like, you know, maybe on Twitch it's not that huge, but like think about the total audience of 2K on YouTube. It's fucking huge. Mm-hmm. Those are just people who like 2K. Even if you get 1% of the total YouTube fan base onto like liking the league, that's like an extra like 20 to 30,000 people.
If you guys haven't had a chance,
that's it. And that's 1%. And that's 1%. Imagine if it's like 20% or 30% that you're retaining off of that YouTube audience.
Go read go read Bear's comments on his videos. Like Bear's obviously tapped into that audience, but go read his comments. There are people who are generally like things that I never knew people were interested in 2K. Like they're like what, like they're finally seeing someone like from the professional level.
Dude, I worked for 2K Labs for a couple months here. It is their comments, like what people look for in 2K content is like more intense than I'd ever imagine. It's crazy the stuff that they want, like intense badge breakdowns to like the millisecond. Like they want every single piece of this game dissected and cut up. I have to imagine that a large competitive field wouldn't be attractive to a large percentage of this community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just about like getting it in front of them. I just don't think we have the right like where we are right
now. That's why Tox is here.
Hey,
oh, yeah.
No pressure.
Joe knows community,
but it's all on you. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'll be
no pressure, Toxsik. But it's all.
It's cool, Tosh. Just remember that during tournaments you'll get to hang out with the cool kids now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
You'll get to hang out with the cool. No, you don't need those players anymore. You got us now.
Nah, Tox. What's gonna happen is you're gonna make a comment about how a player sucks in a tournament, and you're just gonna get roasted on Twitter. The rest of us.
Oh yeah, I could care less.
He's not gonna lose sleep.
I heard about it for 4 years. Every time I made a shot, Scott said a rare Toxsik 3. 4 years.
Yikes. Goon, Harris is a cool kid. Goon, I do what I can for the good of the people. I think players have the wrong impression of me. I think they think I don't like them, when in fact I just want them to be in the best situation possible, and it bothers me when people are in bad situations. Because I've been in bad situations, and I got myself out of them, and it sucks that players can't. They have no control over what situation they end up in. It's kind of crazy considering what this league is. It's just weird. Like Crazy, for instance. Crazy came up to me when we were in Vegas, and like said that he was sad that that I thought he was toxic, and I told him, I was like, no, it's just, I want the best for you, and I want you to do better. And low key, it sucks that that's what he got thrown into.
Players union.
I don't even know if a players union would fix that. It's just it's just sometimes you end up in bad situations, and it makes when talented people end up in bad situations, it's something that deserves to be rectified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Crazy always crying
what
about something.
happens when you're a really good player and you're pretty much brought in to be a savior of a franchise.
Yeah. Champ, what would you make mandatory as a coach? One, I don't think I ever want to be a coach, honestly. And that's not that I've had offers in the past, but I just don't think I want to be a coach. I don't think that's for me. I kind of talked to Frank and LT about this. I think my role, and people always ask, what am I? What am I to this community? I really wish I could explain it. And some people say I need to find that, but I don't really think I do.
It's a very unique role that you play, because it's a role that if we don't have, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. I hope players understand this. It's we don't have a ton of people that cover this league yet, but if hopefully we gain more people. But those people won't truly know the real core of this league. Those people are going to run out. You'll probably always be one of the last people that does, but it would just be bad if you just kind of vanished. Wouldn't it be good?
I appreciate that. But
don't worry, Sherm. I'll still find a way, even in retirement. I'll find you.
Wow, that looks like a shot Sherm would have took back in season 4.
Yeah, I'm just gonna clip. Then Joe, I'm gonna clip that bitch and I'm gonna send it to him. I'm gonna DM it to him and be like, "I got you. Don't worry."
You can't call me out on BFW Live now.
He reminds me of Sherm. Play bricks of 3.
Sherm is probably smirking and cracking his ass off.
Hey, he's kicking back, relaxing,
to come
enjoying
back.
that.
How would that work?
He would just have to request it from the league, and the Hornets would have his rights, and they would lose one of the third-round picks, to my knowledge.
Oh, so it'd be that easy?
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy for a player to retire or unretire.
You don't think that Big
I could just throw my name back in this draft and just let it live?
In theory.
See what happens.
You don't give Champ your job?
That's not my decision. You gotta hit up someone higher than me.
No, but look, my goal though with everything I do, it's really to kind of be that TNT of the league. It's not to be I just think that you look at what TNT does for the NBA, it's really what creates conversation around a lot of stuff. I know obviously people oh, Champ Bayless or Kellerman, whatever. I know people kind of throw those jokes, but I really always wanted to aim more towards the direction of a TNT where okay, it's not traditional.
Champ Barkley?
Yo, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh no! What did we just?
Oh no! Is he uncocooning in front of our eyes? Is he turning from Champ Bayless into Champ Barkley?
No, because he had to actually have.
This is like a caterpillar.
That one time he dropped off Ramo and Pro-Am.
No, Joe, this is like watching a caterpillar turn into an even uglier caterpillar.
Wait, what? I can't be a butterfly? What the fuck?
Not yet.
Too ugly for that.
Wow, yeah, yo, what the?
Bing bong. If you see these dogs in your front yard,
enjoy life for a little. Sure, I can't live life without constantly hating on your every decision. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What's up, baby? Take me out the.
It breaks me apart.
Those were fire.
Yeah, good luck getting anything consistent from Mama content wise.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
Cash, that's one thing I do want to knock down. It's a lot more than you think. I understand that it's not always gonna be millions and millions and millions of people, but people need to understand what scale of people is. Okay, let's say the league in total around the country has 300,000 total fans, right? Just hypothetically speaking, that watch all the content, engage with it, whatever. 300,000 people is still a lot of fucking people. Just because it's not 47 million people like what the NFL is doing, it's still, people need to understand that there's a scale when it comes to audiences. And this is something you see across sports. People talk about the NBA. The NBA is never going to overtake the NFL, but the scale of the NBA's audience has grown so much, which is why it's so impressive. They do billions of YouTube views every single year. So the league is the same concept. Our Twitch viewership does very well. We have a lot of minutes watched. We have a lot of total seconds watched by real people. Real people. Do we have the biggest fan base? No. Do we have a big as fan base as Call of Duty? No, but I promise you, like, there are people who watch the league. Like, I know them. They DM me a lot. I talk to a lot of them. They love the league. They love the personalities. They love the casters. Like, there are real people who watch the league. And also, Cash, like, not everybody posts in Twitch chat. I'll have 150 people sometimes live in my streams. Nobody's chatting. It honestly just seems to be a thing that the 2K community does. The 2K community lurks like crazy. They lurk all the time, man. I'm telling you, it's just it's not bots. I'm telling you, man. People don't use the Twitch chat in this community. It happens in my stream too, all the time. I'll get huge hosts of like 200 people, and nobody will be on the chat. I'll ask questions to people, and they won't engage. It's just this community. I swear to God. If it was bots, like, I think some of it is artificial based off of like it being on the Twitch homepage, but like, I don't know. I know that there's people who watch the league. They talk to me all the time.
But like, nah, it's the truth. Like sometimes I'm not trying.
26,000 people, guys. That we've been so transparent with it that it's the front page of Twitch. Like we say that all the time. We say that all the fucking time.
But no,
all
seriously,
the time.
you like, let's be dead ass. Like, if you were watching an NBA game or something like that, are you literally trying to comment the entire time watching an NBA game? No, because if you're focused on commenting in the chat, you're not actually paying attention to the game at hand.
We probably, on average, what we get on an average night is somewhere realistically around 3,500. That's usually about where we sit. When it goes up to the 15K, that means that we have paid Twitch on the back end to promote our stream on Twitch, which thousands of channels do, including every single esports league on the planet. You guys realize that every single esports league does exactly what the league does from a marketing perspective, right?
Yep.
They all promote their Twitch streams. YouTube has been pushing the CDL for 3 years. Why? Because they signed an exclusive streaming deal. Of course they're going to promote that shit. Twitch is the same thing. We have an exclusive streaming deal with Twitch on American streaming networks. And we do, like YouTube does nothing, so Twitch doesn't care. So they push our channel to their homepage. This happens across Twitch. Just pay attention. Like, go on Twitch right now and look at like the sliding thing. You'll probably see an esports league, Rocket League, Halo. This is how the business works. Welcome to the fucking business of esports. Like, this is how it works. You have a central core group of fans. You have a larger group of casual fans. You try to make content to entice as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, you look at how many fans you have, and it's a couple 100,000.
Okay. Can I just say something real quick? If the league was botting things, then why wouldn't they just keep their streams above 15,000 viewers the whole entire stream?
Why would they dip?
Exactly.
Like, come on, you don't think that they'd be like
let's use our heads here.
They're that fucking dumb to just let it dip and make it look like it's something different?
I've literally done this myself on my own stream as experiment. Like, it's not hard. I swear to you, like, this is literal, just simple Twitch marketing. Like, Nick Merckx, everybody's favorite streamer. Twitch puts him on the homepage. You think he always has 35,000 people watching him? No. Twitch will boost his viewership so that more people will click on him. That is how the business works. So, I promise. It's not that complicated.
Who do you guys think at this point is the face of the 2K League?
I mean, do you need one?
I mean, you don't necessarily need it, but it's good to have. Like
for example, like, who's the face of Halo?
I mean, well, Halo disappeared, so it's hard at this point.
I mean, you could say that, but their first live tournament, they just had 200,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch.
I mean,
so, like, who's their face?
I'll be honest, I don't know the esports stars of Halo.
I know you don't. I'm just saying in general.
Is there a face of Rocket League that's like world well known?
I don't watch that shit. So
Rocket League just fucking numbers.
I know FIFA has a face. I forget his name. I always forget the kid's
Is there like a king of Valorant right now?
I don't think the 2K League has a one face. I think you have a couple guys who are in that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, they are obviously being one, like Day 5.
Definitely that Toxsik guy.
Nah.
I think it's
definitely the beard of the league.
I think of a guy like
you had the beard of the league. I'm not gonna lie.
Cash, how many people can be on the Twitch homepage at once? It is literally dependent on what server you are broadcasting to, because different people will see different things depending on where they're accessing Twitch from. The league can pay to target specific parts of any sort of any part of the world. Like, this stuff is so advanced. Like, people don't understand that. Like, most of the stuff you see on like most streaming services or most websites is incredibly catered and shown to you through advertisements and back-end sponsorships. Like, this is nothing new. This is how digital marketing works. The digital marketing team for the 2K League is like pretty good. They know what they're doing for the most part. And Toxsik will see it. Like, this is how the NBA works. This is how leagues work. This is how Overwatch works. This is This is basic.
Yeah,
This is the
Lynn, I agree
business.
with Lynn. Like, not many esports have faces. Like, I get, yeah. You said people are gonna say scum because of like
But also,
COD. But
I also think esports is still figuring itself out because like right now, like what esport has been profitable? There's not a single like not even League of Legends is profitable yet. Like I don't think people know that. Like
It's just like I don't know, man. I said this on stream. I think it's just people underestimate how impressive it is that like the league stayed open for this long.
It's
I don't
a
know.
league ran by the NBA, but not allowed, like because of CBA and a lot of other things. They're not even able to use their final form. People like always say, "Oh, it's the NBA," but it's still an esport.
why we keep talking about the face though? Like
Who cares?
if we have a face, what the fuck is that gonna do? Like bring a couple thousand people at most.
It's good to have multiple good people that have big fan bases.
What does that
I'm
mean?
sorry,
though,
there's
bro?
no one face of the NBA. There's no
Like-
one face of the NFL.
Like
I mean-
Bear is Bear is the face of a successful franchise. Keen
Tom
is the
Brady's
face of
probably
a
the face of the
successful
NFL,
franchise.
and
Splash
LeBron
is the
probably
face of a successful
the NBA.
franchise.
But even now, you had Patrick Mahomes, starting to become the same thing. You have so many other people.
but as a sports league, you don't want to rely fully on like a face to carry your.
How does that
viewership.
face leaves? Like,
Exactly,
what,
that's what I'm
like
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
no, like,
JBM
we don't
was
need no
almost
face.
the face, and he vanished. Like now he's gonna go do NFTs.
like, but you could argue like Dayfry was as much of a face as JBM. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I just don't think like having a face like matters. Like that matters more to like an individual team in the league than it does the league.
Cashed, I will offer you my entire salary next year if every single esports league on this planet doesn't do the exact same thing that the NBA 2K league does. They all do it. I promise you, man. Like I know people who work for other esports leagues. Like we're all on content teams. Like I promise you, buddy. It's just this is what you do. This is how the business works. This is how you acquire fans on a platform.
You gotta understand too, bro. Like a lot of people have opinions with no success behind their opinions. So like,
Fact.
I mean, I hear you, like Smooth Hendrix. I hear you, brother. Like you're throwing out like the number one thing that's important to grow a league, but you have no like like success of doing that. So having a face is not going to be the reason the league grows or not. That just doesn't make sense, bro.
Even
doesn't.
then, like it doesn't mean everybody's gonna like that one person. Look how many people fucking hate Tom Brady.
Literally is not the reason the league will grow or not. The league is going to grow for multiple other reasons outside of that.
Oh.
How the league works with 2K and how 2K works with the league and how they integrate the league within the game. Those type of things are way more important than having a face.
People can also get really mad at the league all
Like,
they want, but I'm telling you guys that
like, what?
the league as a business is run quite well. The league makes money. It does, man. Like they have a lot of big time sponsorships. Some teams in the league make a lot of money. Like the Wizards make a shit ton of money off their team. A bunch of other teams do, even teams that lose. Like, so the league right now, to my understanding, is like it does pretty well for itself.
Yeah, I'm so confused. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it.
No, it's you don't have to dive too deep into some of the comments, but like the thing is,
It's just like I don't know, bro. Like
I just think I think my thing is people find any like you guys are trying too hard to find the wrongs and not the right. And also, what are the answers instead of just like pointing out like, oh, this and that, like what is the answer? Like I just think that like everyone's a marketing expert on social media, and including myself. Like I'll always say like, oh, we need to do this, but like I don't know everything that goes into it. Like I'll say I'm guilty of that. Like I'll say like, man, why aren't we doing this? But I have never done it myself. You know what I mean? Like why doesn't the 2K League like make tutorial videos on their YouTube channel? Like that's something I always say. You know what I mean? Like but I don't know how, like like the I don't know financially what the league is planning. Like maybe it's not in the budget. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, guys. And
Cashed NBA teams have a lot more to worry about right now than joining the NBA 2K League. Unfortunately, COVID is just like an all-consuming problem. Like I have friends on NBA teams who the stories that they'll tell, like it's hard to do consistent sports right now while COVID's still happening, especially if you take COVID seriously like the NBA does. A lot of these NBA teams, a lot of organizations are not trying to like fully invest in something right now because they need to invest their time in making sure that they are safe from COVID. That's just the plain fact of it. I swear, like you think I'm kidding. I swear to you, I'm not. Like There's less fans in seats, which means less money's for the teams. And I understand that these teams do make a lot of money, but they're spending a lot of money on this COVID stuff.
I mean,
it's just hard. Like, what are the Oklahoma City Thunder going to do in the NBA 2K League while they need the money to like run a safe arena? Like, it's like not every single team can do it right now. It's just a fact. Like, even the Celtics have a problem with this, dude. Like, I know a lot of people that work for the Celtics, not even just on the 2K side. Like, they're having employee problems. Like, people are leaving. It's just,
yeah. It's definitely rough. You know what I mean? And I think like a lot of esports are struggling. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like the 2K League hasn't had struggles. It definitely has, but like you have to look at other esports too. Like they're definitely going. Like COVID really hurt a lot of esports. A lot of people thought COVID would help esports, but it's hurt it in a lot of ways because you took away that in-person that in-person feel that a lot of people liked when it came to esports, and when you take that away, it's like it hurts. You know, especially when it comes to just the appeal of it. Like it's hard because you want to see the players like engaging with each other while they're playing each other. Like, that's a huge thing. Like the 2K League in the early seasons, like my favorite thing. Like, I wish more people could have been in the studio because it literally like your perspective of the league would be so different because just the way like the environment was, it was exciting. I remember like random people coming in like that like didn't really know much about this, and them just seeing that environment, they loved it. They're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. You know what I mean? It's just something I feel like, you know, the league, like the reason I've stayed so passionate about it is because I've seen what the league can get to. And it's just, again, I think the biggest thing is the league just getting in front of eyes. Like the league not being on 2K is just one of the biggest things I think that has just not helped, you know? So until we get to that point, like once 2K in the 2K League is like, once the 2K League is like in the game and is actually getting promoted in the game, then I think you really
consistently. Don't just say in the game. Consistently, what's thrown in their faces, like the rest of these things, because like how many people still play this game who don't know what the 2K League is because they don't follow the 2K League on socials or they're not invested into the community.
They didn't see that one 2K TV episode or something.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I skip past the shits. I just want to play.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Let's say we have 5 full seasons of the league. Let's say we have a really great season this year, and we get put in the game for 2K23. Isn't it better for the larger fan base that's coming in to find something that's more stable and that's easier to understand versus finding something that was, you know, is volatile and is constantly changing like the league used to be?
Yeah.
Like, if anything, this could end up being a better thing that it just gets timed correctly. Like, you time the growth of the league correctly, and all of a sudden, you know, a little bit more attention.
The little kids love it. They will get involved, but the little kids don't have. A lot of little kids don't have Twitter. I know when I was young, I didn't have fucking Twitter. I didn't have all these social media.
Okay, Guru, what do you think the league's absolute ceiling is of like a total fan base? Like, what number would satisfy you? In terms of like, that's how big the league needs to be in order for me to be satisfied with it. What is that number? What is that number for anyone?
I'll be honest. A lot of esports have not stayed consistent to survive. Like we've seen a lot of esports over the years. Like what happened to the gear scene? You know what I mean?
Because if the number is like
Game
50
died.
million people, that's not gonna happen. If your number is like 500,000 people, that's definitely possible.
The difference between
like,
2K...
What is the wanted audience here?
The great thing about 2K is it consistently comes out every year, just like how Call of Duty and stuff comes out every year. And that's like kind of like what helps it in a way. Like you're always generating...
It helps, but it also hurts it.
It helps and hurts, but like it keeps...
Because one year you have a great game, the next year you have an ass game.
Yeah, but like 2K always stays relevant in a way, and so does Call of Duty, despite even a bad game. Like it gets in mainstream media, right? Like
it's part of our culture at this point. Where
exactly.
You just expect the 2K, just like you expect the Madden, because it's a new roster.
Like Halo, like the biggest fear, and I was watching I don't know if you ever watched that Nate Shot show, like where it's like him and like a bunch of people, they do like that little podcast, but like they were talking about Halo, like he wants to get into Halo, but his fear is like, all right, all the hype's here right now, but in like a year or two, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like it's an old game. Like, so it's like that. Like the thing is, like, even though 2K, like people complain about 2K, it comes out every year, and it kind of like it's like, you know, button reset. Like people are like, oh man, like 2K does a great job of hyping up their product. every year. Like, let's be honest. Like, if there's anything 2K is actually good at, it's hyping up the product that they're releasing. People buy it every year, regardless of what their expectations are. Like, people are like, oh, I'm not buying 2K next year, and what do you know? Now they're buying it.
Guess what? They still purchased that fucker, and that's just what happens. It's like,
I just think it's kind of hard to blame the league for like attempting, like trying and sometimes failing at a lot of different things when it came to 2K esports, just because like there never really been a ton of attempts at it anyway. So I can understand like the first people trying stuff are absolutely going to fail at it, right? Like call it, Halo esports, like right at the very beginning talks. Like I'm sure there was stuff that they fucked up that they fixed along the way. Like it's only natural.
and this is like, I mean, like 2K Goro, I hope I'm saying it right or whatever. Like, yeah, and that's stuff they're learning over each year. Like last year's league build was way more fun to watch than the previous year's league build. Like, it's stuff that over time you only get one chance each year. That's really it. It's not like, okay, like we made this league build here, but we made this really good league build. All right, fuck everything that you guys have done. We practice all these hours on. This is super competitive. All this money's on the line. We're gonna switch up our league build just because they're not gonna do that.
Well, do you know what the real issue for me is? And we talked about this, Joe, when we were in Vegas about like why Vegas works so well. It's not that the gameplay was any better than what the league gameplay was going to give you. Like you're going to have great moments in the league. What made Vegas so great is that everything mattered. It was the drama. Every single game like meant something and had like real stakes to it. The problem with the league is that they have so many like blech games that have no stakes or no drama at all. It's like, who wants to watch Hawks versus Bucks season 4? Like, great. Can't wait. Like, there's so many blech games that nobody really cares to watch. And then this year, they come out with this new structure that's like, hey, just kidding, every single game matters because they all lead into their own individual tournaments, and that's the only way you can make money. And the playoffs is a collection of your tournament performances. Now every game has to matter because there's a potential you don't win any money if you lose too many games. Mm-hmm. So they kind of flip that on its head.
Yeah, I do like the idea of like the setup of the league this year, like the tournaments. I think that like it's just a traditional esports setup. They had like an NBA setup because they had a regular season.
It led to the exact same issues the NBA is having, right? The exact same issues the NBA is leading to right now, which is too many games, not enough games matter, and they don't matter until the very end of those games. Mm-hmm. And the league had the 2K league has had the exact same issue for about 2 years now, and maybe even 3 years now.
So Tox doesn't get in trouble. Like Tox is gonna do what he can. Okay, like he's not the end all be all savior.
Yeah, I'm not BD.
Yeah, but he's gonna bust his ass.
I'll be in people's ears, like of course, but I don't know, but there's definitely loopholes and things that
Cool. I'm just.
I think
trying
a lot
not
of things
to
that we've also been saying though too is like are things that like have already been expressed. Like it's not like I'm coming in and like all of a sudden I'm like the first one to be saying this type of stuff,
Well, Cash
we've been saying for years, right? Like the league needs to be in the retail game, and like we've said this stuff. Like,
yo, Cash. I mean, like you talking about like terrible ideas when it comes to streams, corny themes, but like this is where we have to realize that we're an esport. We're not just a traditional regular sport where we can have regular broadcasters. The amount of shit that broadcasters, even UPA, like the amount of comments, these broadcasters suck. People are just gonna have shit to say no matter what. But the casual fan fucked with that stuff. Also, giveaways, all kinds of things like that. Like, there's all little things. And yeah, the league's growing. If it didn't work the year prior, that's why they switched it up. They're going to do different things for the next year. It's a learning experience, like we said before. But again, it just takes time.
Can I just say one thing too? The league has been very transparent. Like they try their best to listen to their audience.
More so than most leagues.
Like, let's be honest, like I've seen so many adjustments over the years from this league, and it shocked me because I'm like, wow, like they're actually listening. Like, yeah, so there's still some frustrations that I wish like happened. Yes, of course, but I know that they listen and they're working on it. It just takes time. It's like you're not going to be able to build this league in one day. Like there's a reason, like, Harris brings up the point, like, I'd rather the 2K be introduced to that big audience, now compared to Season 1, because I'll be honest with you, Season 1, you couldn't even change your jump shot. like Toxsik knows all about that. Like imagine being out there with the wrong jump shot, you go 0 for 10, and
it's like a month just to change our jump shot.
Yeah, so it's like there's just so many things and so many strides the league has taken, and even the league build itself, I think the league build has become more and more appealing to watch every year. 2K18 was a hard game to watch. Like I wish the league did not start on 2K18 because I think it was the worst year for the game to start because of the 5-out. It was just not a good game for the 2K league to start out on it. But that's not the league's fault, and it's just how the cards fell. But like,
we're in season 5 now. It's like at some point we got to leave the history and look ahead.
Yeah.
Like the season 1 was, completely batshit. Let's be honest. It was fun for the moment, but it doesn't really have any historical prevalence anymore, unfortunately.
Well, like the issue though is there's people who still like it did create a stigma on the community because a lot of people will come in the chat and be like, oh, the 5-out league, or this, that. Like people are still hung up on that, and that's the issue. Like, yes, I agree, we need to move on, but like again, that's why first impressions are so important, and I'm glad the league is like taking the time to polish themselves before they do put themselves on the game, which is good.
What Frank just said is really true, and it's kind of something that I realized last year. It's that like I understand that like some of the hardcore fans that we have think that the league is like really, really small and like no one gives a shit about it, but like there are a lot more casual fans of this league than I think people realize. Like if you add up the total amount of fans that these teams have, it adds up very quickly. I promise you. Like I'm not even bullshitting here. Like even if it's not like millions and millions and millions of people, like if it's 1,000 here, 1,500 there, 2,500 there, like 6,000 here, 7,500 there, all of a sudden you keep adding it up. All of a sudden you're getting it to 120,000 people, 150,000 people, 200,000 people. Like it adds up over time. We have 24 teams. If all of those teams have 10,000 fans, that's 240,000 fans, ranging from intense to casual. What else is there?
I know like friends who kind of got into the league with me, got into the idea of it when I first got started in the community. But they, of course, fizzled out. They're busy with their own lives, but they still follow. They might not have the time to actually sit there and watch games religiously, but they still follow. Like, they'll be like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shit, this person got traded. Like, little stuff. They'll keep up with it, but they're not going to be 100% invested all the time. But bringing in stuff where it's a little different. I think the fact that we're able to jump from game to game helped so much. So now, like, you're not just sitting there watching a flood and it's boring. The fact you can switch over to the more competitive games, or the fact that the audience has a chance to choose what game they watch, I think that stuff is cool because it also puts your fan bases against each other in a sense.
Yeah, that's fair. But listen, like I said, we can run circles around this, but at the end of the day, I'm happy the direction the league's going in. I think the Unified Pro-Am is a great thing for the amateur scene. I'm glad that, we had a fun time this weekend. I'm excited for the future. Like I said, guys, this is basically my top 10 prospects performances. I don't know if there's anything on here. I know you guys, we've been kind of jumping around topics like that, but, obviously the list on the board is going to be my final list for my top 10 performers. If there's anyone I'm missing, I apologize. Like I said, that's up for debate, but like I said, I appreciate Joe, Harris, Toxsik, everybody. We've held over 150 people in the stream, and it's been 3 hours. I kind of just don't want to go too far because I know we could stay here all night and talk about it, but eventually all good things must come to an end. Is there anything like you guys want to say? Because I do want to wrap things up soon. And for those who are, bless you.
Thank you.
But you have something to say, Joe?
No, I was saying one of these days you need to get Gliz in here to speak his piece, because sometimes I really like what he says. Like there's sometimes I'm like, yo, it's crazy, but his opinions I think hold merit and would cause a lot of good conversation. So Gliz,
ooh, like what? Like his Gen G one, that lens sucks.
Oh,
I love that one. That was great.
But like, no, just talking about some of the stuff players do, or like, stuff that players need. I don't know verbatim off the top of my head, but there were some that caused really good conversation, and I think it would be nice to have him say what he needs to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I leave these streams I try to make it an open conversation, and that's why I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad you guys all stopped by. Appreciate Toxsik stopping by. Of course, Joe and Harris, those guys. Who are they anyway? But I appreciate that.
If you thought my voice wasn't gone now,
but
ugh.
But guys, like I said, I'll be, this stream, like I said, like I said, I post it on Twitter. If it gets likes, it goes to YouTube. It's that simple. If not, it chills in here on, sub mode, and all my subs get to see it, and that's that simple. But I will be planning a mock draft again for, maybe I might do multiple people to help me with a mock draft, or maybe I get a bunch of good knowledgeable people like Harris and maybe Joe. Maybe Joe if Joe's feeling
Bro,
frisky.
like, also can't OD on mock drafts, okay, man? Like, let's. What was it? We literally have
I
a month.
think
It's
I
1
think I think I'm gonna save my next mock draft for like Valentine's Day.
month. Like, too many mock drafts are OD as hell. Like different variations because of.
I do private ones. I don't publish every single one.
I also think though a lot of people just genuinely enjoy it. It's not.
Why
That's
don't
fair.
you do situationals? Why don't you switch it up?
I
Like,
did.
something like
I
that.
did. Did you not watch the last mock? You must have not watched it.
No, because you do fucking mocks like twice a week and it's just OD because it's like half the time.
Fun fact. I've done 5 mocks, but
But it's like the same picks in most of them. So what's the difference?
No, they aren't. I have.
You've made 5 mocks.
Yes.
Champ, it's January 26th.
I'll tell you right now. One of them was with the 23 teams. So 1.0, I had my own version. Then there was the Top Crown and me hosting that mock. And the other 2, like I did one, and I did one before, and then I just did the Las Vegas one, which was 5. So
Crazy.
yeah, they've all and every first round pick, every first overall pick has been different, pretty much. And it has been different. I mean, maybe there's certain people that end up in certain places, but a lot of it has been different. This past one was my most diverse one that I've made. Like that, like I'll actually put the link in the chat for you guys because I did post the latest one. So if you guys want to take the time to go watch it, yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah, Joe, hell yeah. So if you guys haven't seen my latest mock, I'm actually gonna put it in the chat for you guys so you guys can see it. But like I said, it's probably my most diverse mock. And what's great about it is you have a bunch of players coming up in the middle of the mock, seeing where they're getting picked. So I think that's the best part about the mock is just like the people who walked up. I think mocks are like I said, I already have a new perspective on a mock, but that's why I'm waiting. But I already have a new thought because I like I said, information, and again, everyone's like, "Oh, Champ's anonymous information," but no, again, a lot of messages and DMs and things I get told, I do take it in, I do listen to it.
But that's why I'm saying, like, do situationals. Like, what happens if, Zay is not picked in the top 5 picks? How does that switch the draft up? Who falls? Like, it makes everything different. Like, all the what if scenarios.
Yeah,
because
and I've been doing
let's be fair, that's what GMs and coaches really want to see, the what ifs.
Yeah, and I've been doing it.
It makes it more interesting.
And I've been doing it.
Or like, okay, this person calls.
Hey Joe. Hey Joe. Why don't you stream it?
Fuck no. Do you think I have time?
Oh, yeah. Make time. You think we have time?
Yes.
No. How would you? Why would you think that?
I'm gonna set it up.
Yes, do it.
Champ, send me all these little graphics.
Do it, Champ. Give it to him.
Oh gosh, what have we created, Harris? Are we creating a monster?
Good. Yes.
Do it.
She's dead, Anakin.
No.
You guys are the worst.
Oh no, but
This is the wrong franchise, but your soul is mine.
yeah, no, but like
How
I
did you
said,
really just jump to Mortal Kombat?
I did. That was bad.
that's quite a transition. I'm not gonna lie.
I try.
That's quite a transition.
Now finish it, champ. Finish it.
No,
That's
your
you
job.
didn't like the segue? You didn't like the segue?
that's
We're doing this in front of 130 people. This is embarrassing.
Awkward.
Yeah. Anyway,
People
Listen.
leaving.
Listen, guys. The link I'm putting in the chat is the link to my latest mock. I will be uploading this to YouTube once we reach that like goal on Twitter. I'm also going to be uploading a vlog of Vegas. It's actually very good, guys. I mean, it's very funny. I mean, there's a lot of funny moments. I captured a lot of content of you guys. So if you guys are looking,
234 views, not bad.
yeah. So if you're looking for like little like edit video, like pretty much like little videos of you guys like in Vegas. I have a lot of it that I'm putting on my vlog, so it should be on there, like reactions. Like I got a reaction of Glizzy freaking out, which I think Glizzy, I think he'll not Glizz, but Glizzy, Glizzy will like. Oh, it's pretty funny. There's a lot of interactions, a lot of people.
When do I show up?
When do you show up in it?
Yeah, in the mock draft. What minute? Do you remember?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Damn.
It's probably near the middle. Probably. I don't know. Huh? You can scroll through it. You'll figure it out.
No, that's Slaughter. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people will appear behind me, which is great. Which you know what's great about this content is it's on YouTube forever. It's there. You know what I mean?
Yay, great.
So like, if you look, and you know what's crazy? I have every stream I've ever made. Guess what, guys? I have it still. Every stream I have ever made is in my YouTube, but I just don't post it. So now if I
understand that.
So, well, the point of that is that, you know, if there ever was something that you guys said, oh, you know, wanted me to go back to, I could probably find.
All right, let's do a This Age Poorly.
Oh God, dear God, like
really old streams and
just
go back
just
react badly. Yeah,
bro, Champs mocks last year were fucking awful by the end.
Bro,
we was so lost. It was bad. We had a couple really bad ones toward the end there, Champ. We both did.
Yeah, we could do a reaction stream.
My last one was all right, but goddamn.
Yeah, because you like pretty much knew everything.
Well, yeah, at that point people were talking. You know?
Yeah. Cheap deep down in the league. You can promote the league more than appreciate it, Gliss, but no one owes me anything. Appreciate it.
Nah, deadass Champ. Let me know a day. As long as I'm not busy, we can do that. I would definitely.
I'm here.
Do you want to stream it yourself, or what do you want to do?
New Year's Eve draft. No, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. Like I just
so you want me to basically be Coach Jay, and then you just do your thing.
Yeah. I mean, would you do that for me, Champ?
Yeah.
Oh, what if I was
yeah.
You're my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to do all that stuff, so that's why. Trust me, listen, I will say it was not easy hooking up all my stuff on that PC at the HyperX Arena. That took a lot of work, and I actually, fun fact, Photoshop wasn't working on the computer, so I had to get like the tech guy to like fix the computer because the Photoshop was not working.
So you can't remote into your own computer?
No. That I don't know.
That's something you should look into. It's dope. Recommend it.
I'm sure. Right. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate Joe. I appreciate Harris. We'll definitely look into that, Joe. I'm down 100% down with that. I would love for a bunch of the knowledgeable guys. I guess you would say so-called knowledgeable guys, because not everyone will say I'm knowledgeable. So
knowledgeable people.
No shit.
But everyone who I feel like, even guys who aren't really involved with the league anymore, especially like those retired guys. Like I know some guys are trying to look to be coaches now, or maybe something, or some other role. Like I'd be interested to hear their opinions. But anyway, I appreciate Harris, Joe. Any final things you guys want to say before we kind of, segue out of here?
Yeah, Sherm dropped 29-8 on No Look in the finals and lost.
Fucking unretire.
That's just brutal. Dweck was 0 for 5 in game 1. Brutal. Over 8 from the field.
Wow.
Shifty went 3 for 3 one game. Oh, Crazy went 6 for 6 from 3 over the course of 2 games. Kai was 13 of 24 from 3. He had a 24-7 and then a 23-6-3. So yeah, Revenge Tour didn't really have a chance.
Damn.
Yo, and what's wild is that's the first time all tournament long that they didn't reverse sweep their opponent.
Yep. This got smoked. Yeah, game 2, Rain had 21-14. Sherm was 17-11 in game 2.
I've been looking at the stats for Rain. They're crazy. Like his stats are overall just like really good in that front.
Oh, Rain went crazy.
Yeah, that's
Sherm loves passing to Rain. Constantly passes to Rain.
Hey man, like I said, that's why I think
it's efficient scoring. Rain plays like Walnut with Sherm, man. A lot of mashing, a lot of rebounds.
You were the first one that really say that he was going to be a top center, and now I'm convinced.
Bro, he's legit, man. Yeah. That guy can fucking mash, and this is a mashing heaven.
Hey, well,
Hopefully the league is mashy. That'd be fun.
Oh, I agree. Fingers
Make
crossed.
centers matter again. Give me. I want 25 and 18 at center. Come on, gimme,
Please.
gimme.
I want to see point guards guarding ball. That's what I want to see.
Nah, then you kind of kill a whole.
I want Maddie guarding ball while playing
Natty
point guard.
guarding
How
ball
about that?
before. But like it kills the whole position because then locks to be irrelevant.
So, evolve or die.
But anyway, Joe, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Nah, it's been fun, peeps.
Well, guys, I appreciate all the people who came in here. We reached over 200, live. I appreciate those guys. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. And tell someone you love them. AKA Tim the Hat. Everyone knows where that's from. Alrighty.
They try to tell me what I can, what I can't do. Looking at them like I don't understand you. You never really know what life's gonna hand you. So I'ma do anything that I get the chance to. I keep it cooking like the pots and the pans do. Trying to make a few bops you can dance to. I be tight up on that ass like a pantsuit.